sitting on the yellow?
Yeah. Sure, last call.
We can get started. There's not much on the agenda. There's a way for us too. We don't have to talk about the line. That's not really pretty, right? Careful. Big game tonight. Yeah. You are. Okay. Well, is he coming? I don't know. Who's the guy? Like Moss. When I go, which is nothing. How are you?
All right. The Monday, October 22nd, 2012. Southland Common Council is now in session. Sylvester Williams. Councilmember Davis.
Good Lord, we thank you so much for being here tonight. We ask you to give us wisdom as the council to make good decisions for our city of South Bend. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk John Gordy. Can you read the roll for us, sir?
Mrs. Shea. Here. Dr. Burns.
Present.
Vice President Davis.
Present.
Councilmember White.
Present.
Mr. Furlick. Here. President Beaver.
Present.
9 present.
Thank you. May I have a motion to announce a special council meeting?
I'll make a recommended motion that the common council has a special meeting on Monday, October 29th, 2012, 6 p.m. at Council Station, substitute zone 42-12, zone 42-12, zone 44-12, zone 54-12, and zone 57-12.
There's a motion, a second, all in favor of that? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
And just for the public, 3 of those bills are budgetary related. One involves the non-bargaining salary ordinance for next year, as well as a proposed bill for the firefighters. Provided by a gratification vote that to take place later this week. None of those items will take place until
Thank you. Yes, 6 o'clock.
Motion.
We already did that. All right, thank you. Let's go to special business. 1267. Oh, that's right. Subcommittee on minutes.
The Common Council of the City of South Bend, the subcommittee has inspected the minutes of the October 8th, 2012 meeting of the council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved, signed here, Peter David Barnes.
Make motion to accept the minutes as written. Second. Motion to second, all in favor of that? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. 1267.
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, honoring LaSalle Intermediate Academy for being selected by the U.S. Department of Education as a national certificate.
All right, I'd like to encourage all the members of the LaSalle community to step up to the podium with Mr. Scott. And the first of all, 3 other young men who cannot be here also attended that school and worked under Coach Doyle. Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
Okay, I'd like to read in this record for this resolution. Whereas the South Bend Common Council notes that National Blue Ribbon School program recognizes public and private elementary, middle, and high schools where students perform at very high levels or where significant improvements are being made in students' level of academic achievement. And whereas since 1982, the U.S. Department of Education's National Blue Ribbon School Program has honored America's most successful public and private elementary, middle, and high schools, with each such honored school awarded a National Blue Ribbon flag to proudly fly the school's entrance. And whereas the Common Council recognizes that the South Bend Community School Corporation in St. Joseph County, oldest and largest school corporation and the fourth largest in Indiana. Whereas the council notes that LaSalle Intermediate School, located at 2701 West Elwood Avenue in South Bend, educates students in the 5th through 8th grade under the leadership of Principal Nathan Boyd, who oversees many special programs such as creative learning studios, science labs, independent research, technology-infused instruction, state-of-the-art computer labs, accelerate mathematician programs, foreign language programs, and on-site television studios. And whereas LaSalle Intermediate Academy has developed a uniquely designed curriculum which consists of the core advanced academic objects which exceeded in the expectations outlined in the Indiana academic standards. Now, therefore, it's resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, as follows. On behalf of the citizens of the City of South Bend, Indiana, the Common Council is pleased to publicly commend and congratulate LaSalle Intermediate Academy for being selected by the U.S. Department of Education as one of the 8 Indiana schools selected from 2012 to 2013 academic year as National Blue Ribbon School. The Common Council wishes the students, teachers, and staff of LaSalle Intermediate Academy continued success and recommends that these highly motivated students, the parents, and dedicated teachers, staff to continue to live their motto: 100% effort, 100% of the time. LaSalle Intermediate Community supports and empowers learners. The resolution shall be in full force and effective and after its adoption by the Common Council and approved by the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. It's not easy, is it? Before we go to the council, I'd like to have anyone from the audience like to speak in favor of this. Mr. Brown.
My name is Reverend Greg Brown, 1238 Diamond. I like this. Not just because I listen to LaSalle, but I've been on that side of town 47.5 years. And it's an honor to see these kids. Thank God for the principal here, met him on a couple of occasions. But anytime that I can see a kid put this much in, I got to give more out. And to take out the time to see the honors that come out of LaSalle, it means a lot to the city of South Bend. It means a lot to the ministers of Lions. It means a lot to the clergymen. But it means a lot because it represents our community. And all praise is due.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak in favor of this at this time? I don't see any opposition. Council members, any comments?
We were just
Comments, sir. Comments.
I would like to congratulate you all on what y'all well done. This is not the first time, I'm sure, and I hope that this is not the last time as well. And I, too, am a graduate of DeLaSalle High School, 97 class. Hats off to you, y'all like forever.
I'd like to congratulate all the teachers, the staff. I had the fortune of all my sons attending LaSalle and knew Mr. Boyd before he was the principal. And I can honestly tell you that with all the guidance that my children received, both from on the academic and the athletic side, from the teachers and coaches, they have gotten to the point of where one's at IU, one's at SMU, and the next one will be at IU. Doctor. So I credit Mr. Boyd and all the fine teachers. People always talk about how hard the police job is, and I can tell you, it's got its ups and downs, but as far as the teachers and the time and everything that I wouldn't take your job over Dr. Frulich's job. But I appreciate all the time and all the good fortune you guys have put in there. And again, on a personal note, I think people really don't realize that the only two parade All-Americans to come out of South Bend went to LaSalle Academy also. So, you know, thank you. And you also have been here, I believe, for all the academic achievements. I believe robotics in the class and some other great Teacher of the Year awards. So you guys are doing a fantastic job. And so the council really appreciates all the hard work. Therefore, be it resolved.
Not just my affirmation.
Do you want anything else, sir? Yeah, you know, I'm sorry. Okay, we can speak now first.
Thank you for having us here this evening. It is a pleasure to be extended this opportunity. I can tell you we have a very dedicated group of adults here in front of you. I have educators as well as parents and students here, and I've got 850 of these individuals, just like the one that you're seeing. So thank you for having us. I tell you, with dedication and with determination, there's not a darn thing on this planet that's not possible. I want to tell you, LaSalle Academy is also a building that has received the Blue Ribbon twice. LaSalle High School also received Blue Ribbon. So we've received it in another capacity for the second time. So again, thank you for having us, and I'm just very excited to bring this back to our students.
Somebody else has to speak. Come on. All right, council. There's motion to second, all in favor? Aye. No opposition, thank you.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly commending and honoring Sister Susan Kinsel, CSC, for her countless contributions for the betterment of our community.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
Yes, President.
Vice President Davis.
We'd like to ask Sister Sue and all those who are here to support, to please come forth at this time.
Maybe do it.
Good evening, Council. Resolution 4209-12. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, publicly commending and honoring Sister Susan Kinsel, CSC, for her countless contributions for the betterment of our community. Whereas the South Bend Common Council is proud to recognize Sister Susan Kinsel, CSC, was one of the 11 Sisters of Holy Cross who celebrated their Jubilee year in Holy Cross this summer, with Sister Sue celebrating her Golden Jubilee, having made her first profession in 1962. And whereas the Common Council notes that for the past 52 years, Sister Sue has diligently and compassionately worked on behalf of the poor and disadvantaged throughout our city and countless community service outreach programs. And whereas, since 1975, Sister Sue has served as the director of the Bell Bond Project and can be seen almost on a daily basis counseling many persons in and around the St. Joe County Courthouse throughout downtown South Bend. And whereas, as a trained pastoral counselor who earned her undergraduate degree from St. Mary's and a master's from Notre Dame in mathematics,
Sister Sue donates her time and many talents to the countless boards and commissions, some which include overseeing the LaSalle Park Homes, Dismas House of Michiana, the YWCA, JJC, Pastoral Advisory Board, and the Parish Council of St. Augustine Church, the Justice and Peace Center, and the Newcomb Center of the St. Joe County. And whereas Sister Sue was one of the leaders who spearheaded the raising of over $200,000 to support the mission of St. Mary's College Office of Civic and Social Engagement, a nationally recognized resource center which facilitates St. Mary's volunteer efforts in the community. And whereas Sister Sue has been honored for her dedicated work and service as a part of the Prison Reentry Program, Companions on the Journey, and received the T. Radimus Lifetime Achievement Award for her over 35 years of ministering to inmates. Just to name a few of her many honors and awards, while she continues to teach math at IUSB. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, as follows. Section 1. On behalf of all the citizens of South Bend, Indiana, the Common Council honors, publicly commends, and congratulates Sister Sue, a native of Michigan City, for her many deeds of kindness, and in particular for carrying out a long life journey to work collaboratively to forge justice, political, economic, and social structures and solidarity with impoverished and excluded persons. Section 2. Sister Sue's work in prison ministry provides hope in times of despair and encouragement to those who need it. Perhaps one of the most telling of all Sister Sue's many attributes is the time she spent as a godmother to a 15-year-old Annie Johnson, a sophomore at St. Joe High School, who she helped raise since Annie's infancy, and who she affectionately calls the village child. Section 3. The South Bend Common Council to publicly salute and honor a special 71-year-old sister of the Holy Cross, Sister Sue, and hopes that her life journey continues to be filled with her addressing social and community challenges in her special, caring, and compassionate way. Section 4. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption by the Council and approval by the Mayor. Mr. President, before we go on, I would like to also ask Ms. Maylee Johnson to come forth and share some words.
Thank you. I would just like to say that the presentation basically goes to Sister Sue, but it really is a testament of the Sisters of Holy Cross, who quietly works in the back of St. Mary's College doing quiet acts of justice. But for Sister Sue, who's very shy, very quiet, which is really for all under the microscope, I find this to be a particular honor, not only for me, and that 15-year-old girl that you're talking about is my daughter, Annie Johnson, and on behalf of Annie and her sister Sally, set up to came here from Michigan City today to be here. I would just like to thank you guys for recognizing us. Thank you.
Come on over. All right.
Okay. Anyone like to speak in favor? No opposition, Council?
I would like to publicly thank Sister Sue. When I was in high school, your response to an issue that I had within my family at that time, and I don't know if I perfectly thank you for really responding and helping my mom through a very tough time. And on behalf of all the students that I in South Bend, that you have helped to make math come alive, we thank you so much for this. I move the motion to accept
Okay, we have that affirmation on favor. Okay, before that, go ahead.
As Larry said, it's just not me. It's the Sisters of the Holy Cross. I also attribute it to my family, my sister here, and my parents, of course. And the things that I've done have not been extraordinary. They've just been things that needed to be done. I'd like to recognize that people are people, no matter who
how they are, and be able to see good in every person, and be able to tell that person that there is good there. So many times people are not told that there's goodness. They're only told how bad they are. So if we can have one light of hope that you can do it, and you will do it. That's all I tried to do out here.
Well, I'm prejudiced, of course, but I think she's a great and of course, being older than I am, she's set such a good example for me throughout my life, in many ways, not only in service to the community, but in, as she just mentioned, the idea of there's good in everybody, and it's just a matter of finding it and hoping to bring that out. So thank you for honoring her today, and I know she appreciates it.
Thank you. We have a motion, and we have a second. All in favor? Aye. No opposition. Dignity and respect. Mr. Hardy, 1278.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, declaring the month of October as Dignity and Respect Month.
A resolution of the South Bend County Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, declaring the month of October as Dignity and Respect Month. I'm so happy to have with me Councilmember Oliver Davis, who will be presenting this resolution. Whereas the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center is a complex organization with over 55,000 employees, who introduced in November 2008 a campaign to promote a broader sense of accountability in order to help unify and share beliefs that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. And whereas prior to this campaign, the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center inclusion efforts included one person in charge of diversity training and posting Martin Luther King Jr. Day posters. And whereas the Dignity and Respect campaign has grown into a national campaign, whereas communities throughout the nation declare the month of October as Dignity and Respect Month, which is recognized as a time to remind persons to take the Dignity and Respect Pledge and promote the 30 tips of dignity and respect developed by the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, where persons work to make our country and the world a better place, with more information being available on their website.
Whereas this community-based initiative is aimed at promoting, in addition to dignity and respect, the principles of trust, fairness, and the willingness to listen thoughtfully and learn from individuals throughout the entire community. And whereas the Dignity and Respect campaign advocates positive learning environments and sportsmanship, as well as partnerships with school corporations, healthcare facilities, including nursing homes, where community, neighborhood, business, and elected leaders at all levels of government have continued dialogue and developed meaningful outreach programs, sources of positive measurable outcomes and goals. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, as follows. Section 1. The Common Council of the City of South Bend joins the communities throughout the nation declaring the month of October 2012 as Dignity and Respect Month in South Bend, Indiana. Section 2. The Common Council appreciates the value and attributes of a diverse population which is dedicated to family, community, and culture. The Council encourages each and every resident, student, business leader, and all members of the faith-based community to work together with the elected leaders of our city to help foster an atmosphere of greater respect and dignity throughout our city. Section 3. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption by the Council and approval by the Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, we have Mr. Jim Simmons, who is going to speak on behalf of Dignity and Respect. I want to thank you very much. The Dignity and Respect campaign is a program that, as they had indicated, was started in Pittsburgh in 2008 and actually became part of a program in 2009 that reached out to now 29 different communities all through the United States. I just want to indicate that locally here, Goodwill Industries has taken the lead in terms of being one of the first organizations to actually embrace this and started to do a pledge drive within the community. We already have over 100 individuals from the community who have already taken the pledge. I hope this is a great way for us to shine a bright light on all the good things that are already happening in this community and encourage us to do even more. And I just want to thank you very much for this opportunity.
All right, thank you. Anyone like to speak in favor? Any opposition? Councilmember, any comment before we take a... I would just like to say I appreciate the work that you're doing and everything that entails with this. And I don't know if we can amend it, but I think every month, every day should be full of dignity and respect. But I do appreciate let's start with what you have here and build on it again. I think for everyone, every single day in my mind, we should adhere to that. So, second. Oh, not done, what we do? Comment.
Thank you for bringing this to light. I remember reading over some of this documentation some time ago. I guess my question at this point is, how do we, or could we, or are we actually adopting the principles and practices of the Dignity and Respect campaign by accepting this by acclamation, or is there another process that happens with your organization in making sure that we are matching up to the level that Goodwill has set, or the standard Goodwill has set?
Yes, October is just the absolute beginning of the campaign. It will carry on throughout the year and culminate every October with numbers of organizations and everyone being involved. The pledge drive is just one of the first steps that are involved. The organizations that are involved right now are actually sharing just not only the pledge drive itself, but then statements in terms of how they treat one another, how they're practicing the principles on a daily basis. So there are a number of different ways that each community organization or everyone in the community can practice the steps of dignity.
So I guess the question is, how do we directly become like what Goodwill is to you right now?
I would love very much for us to start with the city itself, promoting dignity and respect, taking the pledge drive and everything.
That's what I'm getting at right now, because it sounds like it's a great idea. Again, I told you I've read the information, so I think at this point, since we're here, we need to take the next step towards it and become a dignity and respect organization proposed.
That would be great. And we can go to the website. I can provide a link to you where each individual can go and actually take the pledge and their names can be captured, and we can build it forward and then encourage others, everyone we know, to be able to take the pledge.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to becoming a partner with you.
Thank you very much.
So a good point, yeah, we definitely will get back with you and be part of that. I guess, Secretary of the City for that. So, motion.
I make a motion to accept by proclamation, resolution, acclamation, Bill 1278.
All in favor of that? No opposition. One more.
Hello, I just want to say that,
Need your name?
hello, my name is Asante Washington, and I just want to say that I'm very proud of this program, and I'm very proud to be working with Mr. Summers on this program, and I'm really excited about it, and I hope that I can help share with him in this vision, and help bring this vision to South Bend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. No opposition. Thank you. Good job, buddy. Thank you very much. Thank you, Thank you. Apple's not doing anything tonight. No, okay. We turn to report of city officers. Tonight we have a presentation by the mayor and then by Gary Gillard. Or, I think, Mike.
Good evening. Actually, the opportunity to give a monthly update to the council on recent progress, issues, and achievements. First, I want to note that the administration and council had, I feel, a great event last week with the Diversity Utilization Board and Trial Incorporated. That was our first Breaking Down Barriers event. The point is to bring more women and minority-owned businesses to the table to do business with the city. In particular, I want to thank Councilperson Karen White, as well as Gary Gillot from the administration and Tony Fitz with the board for their leadership on this issue. This is certainly not the last event. The next one coming up will be a simulated bid exercise intended to stimulate capacity building in minority and women-owned business community here in South Bend. I also want to take a moment to congratulate Councilmember Valerie Shea for her hand in a very successful Community Pet Day at the King Center. With over 300 animals had microchipping, vaccination, and other services. So, thank you for that. We've got to work together on that, and I know that came from and you may have noticed, in fact, you may have received it a bit early, we're doing a weekly voicemail now to city employees where try to get so the folks will come to work on Monday morning. We'll record it on Friday afternoon, and then folks will have it waiting on Monday morning. It's just a little bit of update and news on what's going on in the city. Your input is welcome if you have any thoughts. I think it's important for me to communicate through the administration to our employees. Coming up in the next few days, the Taste of Unity Harvest Celebration. Great chance to see what the Unity Gardens are up to this fall. It's one of our fastest growing nonprofits. It's Wednesday evening at the Jewish Federation. The day after that will be the Lights On After School event with the Boys and Girls Club. And that's a chance for communities across the country to celebrate after school programs and their benefits. So that's going to be Thursday evening. I hope audience members and council members will consider attending that. Then Friday we've got the annual Red Ribbon March Against Drugs and Violence. A very important event beginning at 10:30 from the Colfax Cultural Center on Lincoln Way West. Shortly after that, the following Tuesday the 30th, is the next Mayor's Night Out. It's going to be in Councilmember Oliver Davis's district over at the Rome Village Nature Center. I know the councilman's been working to make sure his constituents are there, but of course, as always, all constituents are welcome to join as well, and I know it'll be a good evening. The day after that is Halloween. The Board of Public Safety has approved trick-or-treating hours. The goal is to promote safety, and so we were asking that trick-or-treating takes place between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. on Halloween. Also, our own police department took the Fun Fest, a safe place for kids to come out, celebrate, have some candy. That's 5 to 7, but that'll be on the 29th on Monday. A few bits of good news to share. First of all, I want to congratulate the South Bend Parks and Recreation Department for securing its CAPRA accreditation. That's the Commission on Accreditation of Park and Recreation Agencies. They're in California accepting the award of that accreditation. It's a big deal. A ton of work on it, and we're proud of them for being accredited or re-accredited. Also, South Bend was recently named as a finalist for the Code for America program. So this is an opportunity for the city to benefit from some smart web and technology professionals working with that nonprofit to make our administration and city more tech savvy. They're going to create programs and bring ideas to help make the city more efficient, and we hope to save taxpayer dollars in the long run. So stay tuned. There will be more information about that terrific opportunity soon. And I want to congratulate the South Bend Fire Department. They put out bids for new fire trucks, and they were able to save, just by doing the bidding a little bit smarter, they were able to save tens of thousands of dollars on 2 new fire trucks in the city. I would invite you to maybe reach out to the fire department leadership if you're interested in how they were able to pull that off. I think it could be an example for how we can do smarter bidding and procurement throughout the city to save taxpayer dollars. The big issues that are coming up, I want to again thank and applaud council members for all the hard work that's gone into the budget. We're this close, I think, to the goal line. I'm looking forward to the final 2 sessions between us and the end of the month. going to be a chance to discuss the important issues driving our city forward. And I want to be sure that council members have some additional material relating to the vacant and abandoned properties task force report. I know the council member Scott has been doing a great job keeping council members updated and has been contributing a lot as a council member on the group. But because it is taking longer than I had originally anticipated for us to have a final report, I wanted to make sure that before any budget vote, you have some information that at least gives you a sense of an outline of where things are headed. So I've passed out to you paper copies of a presentation that was given by the co-chair Jim Kelly on where the report's headed, just by way of a preview. And we sent it electronically to our two paperless council members, as well as in paper form for everybody else. Leaves are coming down early, so we ramped up the fall leaf pickup. You can call the street department now if your leaves are at the curb and ready to go. And then the early pickup ends Halloween, and then after that we go into the full-blown operation of release. This year, that's going to start on November 5th. But if any of your constituents need faster action on the leaves, again, they can call the street department and they'll take care of it. And finally, want to urge council members to join city employees in giving to United Way. The city of South Bend has been a great contributor. I think we can do even better this year, and I'm not sure if there's a captain among the council folks for United Way, but certainly Shay Davis in the mayor's office would be happy to provide any information you would like about that charitable opportunity. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jerry Gelado. I know Councilman Davis was interested and concerned, Councilman Oliver Davis, about the Olive Street Bridge in his district, also known as the Jasinski Overpass. And are we still going to the update on that?
Yeah, so before we turn it over to them, are there any questions to the mayor regarding anything? Are you able to what you just gave us now, are you able to put that on the city website to give the whole community? Because I know the reporters don't have the paper, no offense to the paper, Kevin, wouldn't put in, your overview of the things we're working on. Is there a way to put that on either your homepage or the council just to say, hey, here's what we've got going and here's specific updates on that?
Sure. So are you talking about the...
Just what you just did now. Just to give
Sure.
the council spoke about this and there are things we got going on. I think a lot of people that don't attend that and don't watch the video that we put out all the time so you can watch this, but they don't get a lot of that information. So if there's a way we can get that, that'd be great. All right. Any further?
Mr. Mayor, could you provide the council in an email form an update regarding all the different searches that are going on in terms of like the waterworks, public works, the police search, every department that has not had or has an acting person serving in it, and that way we can know what the current status is, how the job search is going from that standpoint, and the role that you see council providing in that. I know we had the town hall regarding the police search a few weeks ago, and several of council members were there. What additional role would you like for us to play in that, or comments that you are needing from us from that standpoint? And since we have all of these different searches out there, if we can identify them and see what kind of what do you need from us to help get the process going, or if there's some names or some people that we may know to deal with that, because some of them have been out, have been filled for several months.
Sure, yeah, I appreciate the willingness to help, and we'll be sure to get you an update by email.
Okay, appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Gilat.
Jerry Gillette, Board of Public Works. I've also got Michael Meekum with me, the city engineer. We're going to tag team on this. By way of introduction, the Olive Sample Overpass represents a really large, complex transportation infrastructure project. Anytime you do a significant road in town, there's no such thing as a small infrastructure project, but this one is particularly large. We've been approached by the county engineer. As you know, counties have responsibility for bridge structures, overpasses, underpasses, within the corporate limits. All the bridge money goes to the county. However, this is beyond what the county alone can tackle. It requires collaboration on some of the design work, the right-of-way work, the local match for construction. We have forged an interlocal between the Board of Public Works and the county commissioners to do this project together, seeking 80% federal funds.
Mike's going to lay out for you a project where I'll just give you the big picture numbers. We will invest $2 million of city money. The county will invest $2 million. We'll bring $10 million of federal funds into this project. Overall, this is a $14 million project. Beyond the ability of the county to do alone, beyond the ability or the scope of the city to do alone, our work will enable, through collaboration, this important piece of transportation infrastructure on the west side to continue to serve. Mike will go through the details. I will flip through the slides.
Good evening. My name is Michael Meekum, city engineer, and I'm the first floor of the city county building. As Gary mentioned, we were approached by the county to help out with the Olive Temple overpass. As many of you, as you drive it, you find that it's in very bad condition. Independently, many people see a new city engineer, they always ask you, when are you going to do this, when are you going to do that? This is one thing that's come out a lot. When are we going to do something about the Olive Temple overpass? I didn't even know what the Olive Temple overpass was until I went and drove it, and I thought, well, we need to do something here. A couple of things about it that I recognize is that it's right in the middle of an industrial area, and the transportation systems in our industrial area are extremely important to keep the industries going and the jobs going in our community. As mentioned, it'll be about a 50-50 split. I think the county's just a hair more on the monies out of funds. The rest will be from federal funds and safety funds from the federal government and federal highways. The Olive Temple overpass, we looked at it. We said, what should we do? Should we reconstruct it or should we rehabilitate it? If you look at the two sheets of money, one is just a hair under $14 million and the other is just a little over $10 million. We chose to reconstruct. Let me tell you why. Reconstruction gives you a better value, it gives you better life. We don't want to be back here in another so many years. We want to have this last a good long time. And so we felt that reconstruction was a much, much better option, even though it costs a little more. We felt that we should do it this way. Gary and I were talking, and he said, what would you rather do? Take an old car that has 100,000 miles and put $10,000 into it, or buy a whole new car for $14,000. And so that's kind of an analogy if you think about it. Yeah, most of us would be the $14,000 car, brand new. Trying to be brief, just looking at some of the pictures up on the board, some of the pictures in your handout, you can see that the old concrete pavement is just really in poor shape. We've tried to patch it the best we can with some asphalt and some other patches, but as you see, it's totally, it's at the end of its lifetime, and so we need to do something about it. And so when we were approached by the county, we thought this is an excellent opportunity to do something about it and to have a joint project. Just some summary items. The overpass is failing in construction. It'll take $14 million, but we can't do it alone, or we can't do it alone, so we got together to do it. We'll have about $10 million from federal funds. We'll need $2 million from city funds to make the $14 million work. And so that's about a 6 or 7 to 1 investment as to what you're proposing.
Now you're asking for questions? Sure. Okay, I'll start. Gary, when, because this will involve politics, but when would you have, do you know the date when this was originally constructed?
About 30 years ago.
Okay.
It's not a wonderful design. It's a design that INDOT doesn't use anymore.
My point.
With the reconstruction with a better design that will last longer.
that was, and I'll preface, I do preface my point on the political issue. Because in both of your minds, when this was constructed, and if you want to talk about who built it and why it didn't get done, or even if you want to tackle it, I will. I think that's one of the reasons we're in the position we're at there, because when this was originally done, and I know a lot of things that went around and so on and whatever, but that's part of the issue we're in right now, because this wasn't done properly to begin with. I'll leave it at that. I'm glad you presented this, because I see a former village president there. We drive, I drive it every day, I live right near it. And that's one of the biggest complaints that I've gotten from neighbors with the bumpity bump over that road over the day. And I know that you have put this as a high priority, and we're very thankful. So I wanted all the council members to know about it, city to know, and let the people, especially those who work or who live right over in the 6th District area there, and we're going to take this children to St. Adalbert or Westwood down the road there, that this is going to be taken care of within the next couple of months to years. And so that's what years. But by 2015 it should be done.
We're looking at 2015, that's by the time I get it to design and federal funds are available, that's what it'll be.
Now, the only thing could you share with, some had some concerns, and just briefly regarding what you were going to do with the Ewing Street, but you're taking some of that money and some of that project to help do this.
We did take the monies from the Ewing Street to do this, but Congress just passed their Surface Transportation Act a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact date. We now have the MAP 21 project. This is going first up on our priority and go back to Maycock and say, we need money for Ewing Street, and so, or wherever else we can maybe able to get money. This is probably the place we'll get it. This is top on our priority.
So that must be the Maycock part, it will be back to Ewing. That's what you can do. Okay, I can live with that.
All right. I wanted to thank, obviously the engineering department as well as Councilman Oliver Davis for, speaking out and working towards the resolution of this. Overpass, yes, I travel overpass, and I don't believe like when it's not gone. So it'll be good to obviously see something new and a lot more smooth and a lot of cars. However, I wanted to, bring up this point. This is not the only area like this. This shows as a marker for what we can do in the future. The Lincoln Way East overpass passing through Monroe Park has been a terrible eyesore, to the residents in that area, and probably many other overpasses throughout the city. So I would like to find out if they're going to be some more systematic approach or a way of evaluating which ones are more priority than others, and put them on top of their calendar and look at see if those things can be done. That overpass may not be as bad as this Disney overpass or any other overpass in the city of South Bend. However, they all need some updating and some TLC, as we do know, because of our deteriorated infrastructure in not only South Bend and also America. So I guess my question is, how will we evaluate the other overpasses and make those overpasses a priority as well as this one in the future?
The answer is yes. Do we have a system? We just recently, we in Maycock, just recently contracted with a company to do photographic impressions of all the streets in the county and the city and other cities in the Fort County area that Maycock has. And in that analysis, they will now go back through photographic and computer analysis to rate all those streets, including all the ones in South Bend and all the surfaces. They'll be rated from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being brand new streets. And then from that, they can prioritize the work.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Scott?
This kind of changes the subject a little bit. I know it's a state project, the 31 bridge. Any timeline when that's going to get wrapped up?
I don't have that off the top of my head, I'm sorry. I can get that to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaking of the crumbling infrastructure in our country, I do want to make a comment that the third and final presidential debate will be taking place at 9 p.m. tonight. So, it would be interesting to hear the candidates' positions on this specific point. So,
You just said 2 minutes?
well, there's an example of the crumbling infrastructure. The debate's at 9, so...
I drove from Seattle to South Bend, and I could talk about that for about 3 more hours if you'd like me to. And I think you can...
I'd like to thank the work, to get back to your analogy of the car you guys wanted to have over the lemon because of the way it was built and people were doing it 30 years ago. So, thank you for the good report. Thank you. All right, now may I have a motion to resolve in the committee of the whole. So moved. All in favor of that? Aye. Any opposition to that? So we should not get into the make it out like this. You do that.
The committee of the whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council's meeting where bills are given a second reading public hearing. At this time, we'd like to ask our council attorney to read into the record the process that we will be adhering to in terms of the bills that will be continued.
Substitute Bill 42-12, Bill 33-12, and Bill 44-12. Proper motion would be to continue those bills in the short portion and to have second and third reading and the remainder of the council session and public hearing at the special meeting set for October 29th.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Would you also read in record in terms of Bill 35-12 that the need for us to take a motion regarding this particular bill?
It would be appropriate first to have a motion to continue Bill 38-12 to the meeting of October 12th.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries.
With regard to bill number 35-12, this is the proposed restored landmark status designation for the Avon Theater. There will be a motion made to change the rules for the hearing to limit the formal presentation, which is typically untimed, to a total of 15 minutes, and to also limit to 15 minutes the formal responses to 15 minutes, and that any member of the public who wishes to speak either in favor or in opposition will have to give the name and address and will be limited to 2 minutes, and that is my proposal.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote. Those opposed, the motion carries. I would ask First District Councilmember Tim Scott to keep time for us as we begin our public hearing during the committee of the whole. At this time, I would like to ask City Clerk John Voidy to give second reading to Bill 35-12.
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance and establishing historic landmark status for the structure and real property known as the Avon Theater, and located at 307 South Michigan in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. It's in a committee report.
Yes, Madam Chair, the Zoning and Organization Committee met this afternoon, and we bring this bill to the full council with no recommendation due to our time that we had this afternoon.
Thank you so much. At this point, we'll ask the petitioner to come before us, to state your name and your address, and that you do have 15 minutes for your overall presentation.
And I'll just remind you with 1 minute when your time is up.
And if there are multiple people that are going to be part of the formal presentation will identify that.
Madam Chair, council members, good evening. My name is Tim Kuzinski. I reside at 617 Park Avenue in South Bend. Currently serve as President of the Historic Preservation Commission of South Bend in St. Joseph County. The HPC is one of this state's 3 oldest preservation authorities. It's an honor to address the council this evening. I would ask that my comments be made part of the record in full, without objection.
And then just,
I don't believe the local media fully presented the HPC's position on the Avon. And so I'd like to take this opportunity here in this public forum to clarify the rationale behind preservation, to dispel the myths regarding local designations. If any of you have misconceptions, I'm thankful for this opportunity to serve your duty for fact-finding. Forgive me for mentioning anything that you already might know. First, the HPC is a government authority, not a club or a not-for-profit organization or a museum or corporation. Article 13 of South Bend's Municipal Code dictates that the HPC shall have the following duties: survey, identify, plan for, and advise the Common Council concerning the designation of historic districts and historic landmarks. The Historic Preservation Commission shall recommend the designation of historic landmarks and the establishment of historic preservation districts on the basis of historical and cultural significance, educational value, and suitability preservation. I don't mean to belabor the basis for the HPC's recommendation that the Avon achieve local designation, but it's worth repeating that it was chosen because of its broad historic meaning, public outcry, architectural merit as an example of period revival style. Movie houses like the Avon were uniquely built and designed when two were alike. You won't find another in South Bend or across the nation. Avon is for the people. The building appears to be structurally sound. Both plaster and facade damage are considered to be cosmetic elements architecturally that should be repaired. The recommendation for local designation is based upon objective standards shared by academics and city planners and urban designers, also used by the U.S. Department of the Interior, National Park Service, Indiana Department of Natural Resources, and the National Trust. The Historic Preservation Commission made its recommendation using these standards, and it determined that the Avon met or exceeded qualifications as a local historic landmark. A publicized compromise presented to the HPC was analogous to the library getting to keep only pages from some of its prized books. Unlike a museum, the HPC promotes community appreciation of shared amenities by using them, not collecting dust. Historic landmark designation does not limit the building to own use. Only the outside of a landmark is subject to preservation standards. The building can be reinvented completely on the inside. Reasonable exterior changes are approved routinely. HPC does not care what a building is or does. Designation does not mean the Avon must remain a theater. There is no mandate for a marquee. Adaptive reuse is left up to the owner. Designation does not mean that millions be spent to restore the Avon either. That's only propaganda. Furthermore, designation does not prevent new additions from being constructed or becoming a component of a prospective library expansion. Regardless if the building is a landmark or not, it need only be maintained according to the same standards for buildings throughout all of South Bend. The HPC believes that the best way to preserve the terracotta facade is to display it on the building for which it was intended. The choice, advertised by library officials, offered only souvenirs in exchange for the values of the HPC board pledged to support. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Others felt the same way. In 2008, I had the privilege to attend a conference by the National Alliance of Preservation Commissions. The City of New Orleans hosted the event, showcasing the impact of historic preservation as a revitalization tool following Hurricane Katrina. In his keynote address, Dr. John Knaupp, then chairman of the President's National Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, reported that heritage tourism yields a 19-to-1
return on investment. He said that if you guys forget everything else from that conference, remember that fact. When you get back home, make sure your community leaders understand it. Historic preservation means money. Bear in mind that for any heritage tourism to take place, we must celebrate our collection of downtown historic buildings. Crushing historic resources won't promote that strategy one bit. We must use historic designation to sustain our built environment and stimulate public interest if we hope to reap those cultural benefits. For anyone here in these chambers that does not like old buildings, here's less about architecture, hated studying history in school, or thinks preservation is a waste of time, I challenge you to show me a program that promises a similar return on our investment. A few years ago, the White House recognized both South Bend and St. Joseph County as Preservation America communities. This distinction brings with it the potential for heritage tourism dollars and economic opportunities desperately needed here in our downtown. The Avon fits into this model as a prestigious anchor in our city's central downtown sector as part of a family of buildings that is demolished and never be duplicated with the style, quality of construction that is part of our history. It is through the continued use of buildings like the Avon that we retain the unique architectural flavor that is South Bend. After 6 decades of old habits, netting fewer and fewer architectural examples, we've reached a critical mass in protecting those that remain. It's imperative that we explore any and every opportunity to reuse vintage building stock before submitting to more tight demolition, so it doesn't feel like 1960 all over again. If we want better results for our city, its neighborhoods and downtown, we must choose solutions over burial in the landfill. We must be proactive in promoting our historic resources and the opportunities for repurposing that they offer. We must give the Avon this distinction as a local historic landmark. Of all the lectures, presentations, workshops, advice and strategy sessions that I've had the pleasure to attend here in South Bend, none have ever professed or concluded that modern planning should continue to mirror urban renewal. Been there, done that. We must shift from repeating our mistakes into a mode of recovery. The word on the street is that as long as the Avon stands, the library will have difficulty realizing its new facility. And while this is a popular argument, it's not exactly accurate. I feel that both buildings can prosper independently of one another or mutually coexist. Most importantly, there should not be anyone who believes that the Avon cannot be designed into any future library expansion. I was informed that the Notre Dame School of Architecture is now considering this design project, with wrecking balls still being into it. For me, it's unrealistic, or silly, to think that the library's 2007 design proposal must be accepted as is, without changes. But just for the sake of argument, let's talk about that design for 1 second. Within the one proposal that we do have, the building plan provides a brand new audiovisual center. All we have to do is flip the blueprint over, and the AV Center will be in the same spot that the Avon now occupies. Workable plan. That would be a compromise. Imagine a library with an Avon or Strand auditorium. What a novel idea. How did the library and its team of architects miss that? In the same way that the Historic Preservation Commission struggled over setting a bad precedent, given the choice between artifacts and values, our city must also guard against the temptation of double standards. Isn't it true? South Bend was recognized as Indiana's Green Community of the Year. Outstanding. A brochure on the city's website advertises the qualifications. Buzzwords like recycling, reclamation, smart growth and new urbanism, future vision. I applaud this council, our public works department, the mayor and his administration for this achievement. We save enormous amounts of money with innovative control systems for traffic, our CSOs, water management,
We heat the very botanical conservatories, nearly demolished a few years ago, with wasted heat from computer servers because of new ideas. We host discussions on urban planning and recycle vast amounts of materials from paper to aluminum cans. So let's crush the Avon. This 450 embodied energy within the building, roughly equivalent to the community's effort in recycling 6 million aluminum cans. And we make that effort completely. Stack them up, and that tower reaches nearly 20 miles high, halfway with the stratosphere. Given that we must also manage our landfills in this green city, we'd be very interested in studies that measure debris from our buildings. National average suggests that construction material is responsible for between 25 and 40% of landfill waste. And with the booming demolition business here in South Bend, I wonder how big our pie chart slices might be. Everything about sustainability relates to economy as much as ecology. I'm frustrated that the library rejected suggestions to maintain the Avon and applied demolition money towards facade repairs. Too expensive, they say. But given that the library plan to spend, and it still does, somewhere between $235,000 and $305,000 for the privilege to demolish the building, there's no tax savings offered by their plan. I think our tax dollars should be applied toward repair efforts, since it also preserves the value and the potential of an asset worth considerably more. The library's facility expansion is also proposing a demolition of the current building at Main Street. These combined costs for demolition and reconstruction of a building that was more recently renovated is $43 million, 2007 estimate that continues to escalate. I still maintain that if the library chooses to incorporate the Avon interest in design, the construction costs for rehabbing the existing Avon are a trade-off for building a brand new space. Because the qualified architecture consultant, adaptive reuse can be cost-effective alternative building construction. And for any community that prizes its history, it's worth doing anyway. For a number of years, we've confronted the problem of slumlords in our community. Property hounds take advantage of devaluation or foreclosures and stuff the houses full of renters and extract excessive revenues for profit. Neighborhood houses suffer from gradual decline despite diligent efforts of code enforcement. By the end of this cycle, many houses, too many houses, are so upside down that they fail to market their new investment. As you came to knock them down and maintain vacant lots. I wonder how this council will respond if just one of these so-called investors purchased a prominent building in our downtown, avoided the usual expectation of maintenance, say for terracotta facing, until he can make a demolition by neglect case. Would this be allowed to continue for years? Is that our policy? Does this happen in a residential district? What would code's response be? I'm sure that a great number of venture capitalists are waiting to see just what happens with the Avon. It's good for the roof space, I think. I grew up here in South Bend. I'm a taxpayer. At the start of our great love affair with urban renewal, I remember shopping downtown with my parents and grandparents. When it started, bulldozers and wrecking balls. From my house on the west side, I saw the cityscape fall right before my eyes. Our skyscrapers were leveled, monuments were buried in the landfill. I was told that old buildings had to make way for new opportunities. People believe that whenever our city could spend that much money, a grand vision must be fulfilled. All I know is that there was less need to shop downtown. One minute, sir. Downtown. I'm sure that public officials that serve this community believe that momentum will bring progress, that the economy could proceed on a blank slate, and that's never happened. I'm not here to pick fights with our local library officials. The library is an institution of much needed underutilized resource. I visit it regularly and promote it. But the librarian and I have a strong disagreement over the preservation of assets like the Avon. I favor true win-win solutions for this community. There are so many reasons why designating the Avon makes sense. I'm hoping that one, just one, wins your vote today. As that you grant local historic designation. At the very least, I ask that you take the time to entertain all the issues before the meeting.
Thank you. I'm going to
How much
ask,
time? 5 seconds. Thank you.
thank you. I'm going to ask our, council attorney at this time, if the council members can ask questions of the petitioner. And at this time, I'm going to start with First District Council Member Tim Scott, and then go directly down the line.
I'm going to defer.
Councilmember Henry Davis, Second District.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for your presentation, sir. It was very enlightening. A lot of questions that I had before passed, you actually had explained quite a bit about the breaking ball and what since South Bend food service divide. I'm going to get there. And this has been a true unusual year for the council. I think that we're realizing some of the story that we had. I was an art major in college. Was wanting to be an architect, but I ended up here. And so, it's not a bad thing. Back Daddy, Hotel Hotel, there's an old firehouse in the Second District on the corner of Pier and Walnut. The apartment complex across the street from the high school down here, Central High. Thank you. Marquette School. With all those things being tagged historical, and what it's looking like right now, based upon its historical value, that will preclude to me that doing that same type of tag ineffective. And I am trying to realize the value in it when the list I just gave to you hasn't spoke of development one bit.
So Councilmember Davis, your question to the petitioner?
I think you understand my question. You don't understand my question? How does it preclude development? Why
Each
does
building
it?
is separate. Each building has different opportunities for development. Each building has different owners. And if we're trying to do something in concert, and we're trying to set policy at the council level to be able to bring our needs, desires for historic preservation to the community, then it opens up the doors also to local designation, that we can explore National Register nominations, tax credits, and some other things that are incentives for people to buy these buildings, reuse them in different ways, adaptively, repurposed them.
Well, this building has been sitting, look, I'm not down for it against it, I'm just saying, this building has been sitting since the late 1960s, without anyone using it, without any, just closed. I took my tour through it, and I'm still just stuck with the fact that when we do these
You weren't
designations,
in charge of marketing that building.
Excuse me, I'm going to ask that we keep our questions to the presenter based on his presentation, and we'll have time when we come back to the council portion to have this type of dialogue. At this point, we're just
what doesn't that fit with this presentation? His presentation, excuse me, I'm so sorry that I'm...
It's called preliminary questions only at this point, as far as detailing the information.
Well, is it so detailed? Well, define preliminary for me, please, because I'm confused. Now, I've been on the council the last 5 years.
Point that the presenter made that you were unclear about, and that all other questions should be held until the council portion.
Oh, okay, well, I'll wait till...
Councilman Shea?
Sure, I just have a bottom line question. I want to know the dollar amount. I heard a quote of $250,000 to historically take the facade down to preserve it, and then an estimated $300,000. We have come to at a later time. $250,000 coming from unencumbered funds from the library, and potentially $300,000 coming from the downtown strip market. Is that accurate?
The proposals that the HPC received, only entertained $70,000 of the palletized and facade elements. There were quotations that were sought to repair the terracotta elements on the front facade, and that could be anywhere, just as ballpark, between $150,000 and $200,000. He's positioned application
for the redirection of demolition funds toward facade improvements of that AVOD could be shored up and prevent any kind of damage from occurring or reoccurring.
And these are dollars that the library would be spending from unencumbered dollars that they could be applying towards literacy, disciplines, and other types of
Well,
things.
the library already intends to bury the building for anywhere between $250,000.
Again, those questions are appropriate for the library and the business.
Councilmember,
No questions.
Councilmember Warner?
I just wanted to make clear that the recommendation from the HPC, even with your research and your presentation, is advisory only. It's practically council's advisory recommendation.
We have a recommendation, that the building be given a historic landmark status, and that's what we take.
Councilmember Davis?
If I were to ask the question, he shared that, during their agreement with the library, he described it with some adjectives. If I were to ask, when they came to the committee before, 2 weeks ago, to our council, his attorney stated that they were in agreement with that. Could I ask what broke this down? Because of the fact that our chair of that committee, and we have both attorneys to come, and I asked for both attorneys to present their cases. Both said that those who representing the library board stated theirs, those representing your group stated theirs, and then I get a meeting myself. What made
That's the distinction, sir.
Please, help me out.
The proposals that came forward were only in agreement that could happen at an administrative level between the directors of both the library and historic preservation. The decision-making body of the HPC is the HPC board of commissioners. And so, the directors could not propose anything that the commission didn't adopt.
So the attorney at that time was only speaking on behalf of the director, but not on any way or fashion or form on behalf of you.
There was one proposal that came through from the library attorney to the HPC.
Okay, that's got it. That's got it. No, I'm stopping him too as well. We're trying to keep us focused on the questions to the petitioner. We will have ample time as a council to really go through all the questions or concerns that you might have. We're questioning the petitioner based on the information that he has just shared. We need clarification in the form of a question, then you can ask that, but we will have time for council discussion. Councilmember?
Thank you for the presentation.
I will give mine in the form of a question. You did say that the White House has designated South Bendis area in those federal funds. There's special and privileged tourism opportunities through the Preserve America Initiative. We have never received that, or we haven't applied for that. Right, apply.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll now move to the monstrous.
The public question, 2 minutes for any member of the public.
To speak and not to, at this time. Okay. So let me make sure, at this time, we're going to go to the public hearing portion of those that are in favor of the bill that's before us. Okay. I'm going to ask for clarification. I think we have one council member who would like to have clarification.
2 minutes, up to 15 minutes, correct?
2 minutes each, and this is time and equal to the monstrous.
Yes.
Opposition of that.
For the same amount of time to go on.
In favor of that.
Yes, that's correct. Will you please state your name and your address for the record?
This is John Victory, 901 South Street, South Bend, Indiana.
I'll give you 30 seconds before your time starts, okay?
Well, I had no idea what I was going to say when I came over here. I looked around and I said, once again, the library has managed to line up all the suits, the high-powered projects, for the great thing, because I love the library.
You can, excuse me, you speak to the council, please.
Sorry about that. Now, can we? Okay, anyway, love the library, had a library class since I was 8 years old. Don't know what I was going to say until I realized I don't even have to use my own words. I can just draw on an outstanding philosopher from the 20th century who said simply this: don't always seem to go. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Put in paradise. Put up own parking lot. That's what the library wants to do, and not one doesn't want to tear down the Catholic Charities building behind Charles, the New York style building behind. They'll leave a nice gap tooth right there on Wayne Street when Notre Dame's people just said this spring, save your streetscapes. They've got no use for it for the next 8 or 10 years. But hey, am I the only one? Maybe you guys notice this. The irony that is stuck in this room tonight. You guys just designated October as Dignity and Respect Month. How about dignity and respect for our cultural heritage, our architectural heritage? That's irony. You guys just passed that, and now you don't respect or give dignity to the Avon or other buildings downtown. I am shocked that a young man right here, a fine councilman, came up with a great idea to repurpose things at this state building. Gavin, I'm surprised you're not trying to help at least save another historic building. So, basically, I don't know why to start the golden rule. The library is teaching the golden rule. Those who have the golden rule, and they are going to give you all kinds of sketchy, sophistry, and weak arguments for telling them that, frankly, I am tired of my downtown South Bend looking like Bob down Berlin after World War II. This Magnus has to stop, and you need to stop him.
I'm going to ask everyone wishing to speak in favor of this bill, if you please come to the podium at this time. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this bill, please come to the podium at this time.
Good evening. My name is Wiesner Steil. I'm an architect. I'm living on 1122 Foster Street, and I'm teaching at the University of Notre Dame. I'm just back from San Antonio, where I found a beautiful downtown, the streets without parking lots, breaking and reversing the street, and we are thought authentically like that, not by taking away, more as the last remaining testimony of beautiful history, but by adding. Let me just make some very short comments. I'm trying to fill in about 2 minutes. Evans Theatre is the last piece of dignified architecture in this block. It isn't Michelangelo, but not every building has to be Michelangelo. It's not a masterpiece, but the city is a collective work of art where you have highlights and you have buildings which are fabric building or building which kind of make really the street, make the city as has been talked before. The new library proposal has been designed in 2007 in a context which was very, very different from, and without the consideration for energy efficiency, urban ecology, carbon emissions, global warming, new urbanism, walkable neighborhood, and without considering downtown South Bend as a potential for a revitalized mixed-use city center. It has been designed as a suburban drive-in or drive-by, and it's more suburban than urban, and it looks more like a facility, which, like a dispensary, a literacy, a suburban hospital, than a library and a real civic building. I would say, never, excuse me? 30 seconds. Yeah. Never allow them to demolish any building if you cannot provide a new building which is at least as good or better. Don't create void. Do not continue breaking down building without giving a reasonable promise for construction. Do not replace buildings with parking. The library project obviously has been conceived in a mentality which has not evolved since the urban renewal period. This mentality favors functional zoning, car traffic, community planning, is the service model and should not be entering downtown.
Hi, my name is Karen Hahn, and I live at 5077 Shawn Court in South Bend. I think the Avon Theater should be saved because we need buildings in South Bend for South Bend to be successful again. I've lived in South Bend for 25 years, and I'd like to give an example of my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina, because it's a good comparison to South Bend and the Avon. When I was going to college in Asheville, I was at a private restaurant similar to the Summit Club, and I looked down on empty streets of Asheville from the 16th floor. The storefronts were empty, and the department stores had all been left for the mall. I could see a few beer joints open, and the Fine Arts Theater was still open then, showing movies that were rated X, XX, and XXX. Fine Arts eventually closed down and was abandoned, but not torn down. Asheville does not allow the buildings to be torn down. Asheville skips urban renewal process that strips the character from many downtown. Now Asheville has made a comeback. It's a busy urban city once again, and the Fine Arts Theater is a home to art and independent film, and Asheville is filled with shops and entertainment and breweries and art galleries and condos. I believe South Bend is on the edge of that comeback too. It can't happen if there are no buildings left. Many people believe in South Bend. David Matthews is building condos, Kevin Smith saved the Union Station and one of the Studebaker buildings, and the State Theater is on its way back too. Okay. That was the easy part, coming up with why the Avon should be saved. The hard part is how to pay for it. I think crowdfunding can be used to raise the money. Crowdfunding is an internet platform that raises money for a cause or startup business. A South Bend Army veteran, Charles Florence, has raised almost $19,000 for his startup business of the Indiana Whiskey Company. His goal was $10,000. There are also examples of this fundraising that have raised enough money to save buildings.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sam Lona of 528 River Avenue. I came here today because my wife and I just recently purchased a house less than half a mile from the Avon Theater. I had many opportunities to pursue jobs in California, New York, or in Europe after graduating from Notre Dame School of Architecture. But I decided to stay in South Bend because I see a lot of promise in the city. And many young people like me are deciding to move back to cities, and part of that is because of the character of cities when they're downtown. I decided to come here tonight to speak in favor of the Avon Theater because I feel like the historic character of many of our cities, which was washed away in the mid-century, is some of the most valuable fabric that we have left. And with most of the architecture being put up today resembling more business parks than historic downtowns, I'm afraid that what will be built will not be as good as what will be torn down. The historic preservation movement was started by the people because they felt that exactly that, the beauty of the past is being lost, and what was replacing it was not as good as what had been there. That's why I came here as a private citizen and a homeowner in regards to saving this piece of beautiful architecture that has a lot of potential. Thank you.
Good evening, Catherine Hodge-Butler, Director of Historic Preservation in South Bend and St. Joseph County. I'm basically here because we do believe that the Avon should be safe, and its architecture is important to the city of South Bend. These small theaters, any theater that was ever designed is a unique theater. There are no duplicates from this vintage. And the outpouring of support that our office has received for saving this has been just absolutely astonishing. And I'm going to pass out the letters from Michael Lakutis from the University of Notre Dame Architectural School and Ryan Dvorak in support of this.
Do I get her extra time?
No.
Lisa Fiesel, staff of the Historic Preservation Commission. And I just wanted to step up here for my community to be a voice for all of those people that Catherine referred to. In addition to the two letters that you're receiving right now, we have a Facebook group titled Save the Avon Theater Downtown South Bend that has attracted over 550 members that actively have a conversation about this topic on a daily basis. Additionally, we have people who are librarians in the community with IUSC, Holy Cross, and Notre Dame that are in favor of retaining the Avon Theater, although they know that the library would like to expand over it. That's all I have.
Good evening. My name is Michael Bull, 1721 West North Shore. I'm here to speak in favor of the Avon.
I wish everyone in this room would have an opportunity to spend a Sunday driving around in the car with my uncle, 93-year-old George Coquiller. He is a direct descendant of Alexis Coquiller, founder of the city of South Bend. And to have him in the car, driving around, talking about downtown South Bend, the days that he was youth, it's special. It's something to be very lucky to have. So, I'm not here to say that we're saving the Avon Theater for any other reason other than I think for the next generation. And I think it's important that the next generation has the opportunity and to have conversations with uncles, aunts, grandparents, stuff like that, of how the city was. So the preservation of the Avon is for the next generation. Thank you.
Jerry Escoffi, 2930 Bond Avenue, South Bend, also Vice President of the Historic Preservation Commission. I'm also here to urge you to vote in favor of landmarking at the Avon Theater. During some of the comments and things you heard in the news, especially if you go out by the Avon now, you see a bunch of pylons out there to protect the public from anything falling down. We were told during previous meetings that pieces of mortar and facade are falling down all the time. I can tell you that in the last month and a half, I've been going out there every other day, and I have yet to find a piece of mortar, let alone a piece of facade coming down on that sidewalk. I think there's some scare tactics. But other than that, I think also some good points were made here, and that is if you're concerned about money for demolition could be put into either rehab and or repurposing the building for use with the new library. You heard the architecture professor from Notre Dame talk about how the new design, if any of you have looked at it, if you haven't, you should. It does look, actually I had another architect friend of mine tell me it looked like a prison. It does not look like something that should be in downtown South Bend. It should be something more stately, more in keeping with the stature that the library itself has. It's noted as one of the best libraries in the country. We deserve much better than that. So if we can work beyond some of these numbers and concerns, I think the library can use this. We have 7 to 8 years. We have 7 to 8 years. Why not open up the design to architectural people throughout the country? Notre Dame students said they might be interested, and let's see what they come up with instead of something that looks like an institutional building. So I ask for you to vote for this favorably. Thank you.
Jesse Davis, P.O. Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana. I've been watching this in the news and following it, and I've been on the fence, and a lot of my friends that are even here tonight are going to come up and speak in opposition of it. So I guess we're going to butt some heads. But I mean, this is no different than the, Mr. Parent over on the school board saying, hey, let's look at this lady. She's old. We've got buildings that are old. We're talking all this public and private partnerships for the Chase Tower. To me, this building is just as important, if not more important, because it's older than the Chase Tower. The Mishawaka Library purchased some property several years ago, and they actually incorporated the old Mishawaka jail into the new library. You can go in the library and physically sit in one of the jail cells that I may have been homes with at one point when I was a child. So, I mean, just to throw this building away and say, hey, let's knock it down, let's put a parking lot up, let's put one of those long angular square buildings up. We got another one of those in Mishawaka sitting at Buda Park that's still got dirt floors in it. And it's been sitting there for years. So, economic development, I think it's supposed to retain your tax base and create a tax base instead of tearing things down where you're not getting the tax base that you used to get. But this is a very unique building. If we're going to spend money, my tax dollars and everybody else's to save the Chase Tower and other buildings such as that, we should be just as willing to look into a partnership and save this building.
Thank you. We'll now move to the remonstrance portion. You have 15 minutes as well. And if you have others that will be part of your presentation, we do ask that you indicate their names at this time as well.
Madam Chairperson, members of the council, good evening. James A. Masters, 211 West Washington Street, 1800. We're probably located in the Chase Tower building in downtown South Bend. My capacity as tribute for the St. Joseph County Public Library. The library acquired the Avon Theater building in March of 2007 for the specific purpose of demolishing it to make way for the new main library that would be built in 2018-2019. Prior to the library's purchase of the building, there was interest shown in that building by a local theater group, and it was determined then that the building was in such bad condition that it was not economically feasible to restore the building for use as a theater. The library owns every building on the block bounded by Maine, Wayne, Michigan, and Webster. All of those buildings were purchased at a time when the seller was willing to leave the buildings and vacate. The buildings are all abandoned. The library is surrounded by abandoned buildings. The library cannot expand the south because the alley to the south is the location of numerous utility easements that serve downtown South Bend. So the long-range plan developed by the library board to expand the library is to build a new building on the east side of the north-south alley, with Wayne Street on the north, Michigan on the east, Webster to the south. In the spring of this year, the library announced its plans to demolish the Avon Theater building and the other vacant buildings that surround the library. In July, without any prior notice to the library, without the opportunity for the library to be present, the Historic Preservation Commission held a public meeting to put the Avon under interim protection to stop demolition of the building. The Historic Preservation Commission then submitted the ordinance to you, which is now Bill 3512, to declare the Avon Theater building an historic landmark. There was no evidence presented before the Historic Preservation Commission that the Avon Theater building is historic in any way. The job of the Historic Preservation Commission is to develop facts and evidence to present to you that support a recommendation to declare a building to be historic. Instead, the Historic Preservation Commission wants to tell the library board where to build a library, when to build a library, how to build a library, how much money to spend on a library. None of that is within their jurisdiction. The library board is a duly constituted agency that services 8 of the 13 townships in St. Joseph County, has a population of over 166,000 residents and over 200,000 library card holders. Its jurisdiction far exceeds that of the Historic Preservation Commission, which, by the way, has absolutely no fiscal responsibility, no responsibility for expenditure of taxpayer dollars. The Avon Theater building is not historic in any way. It was not on a registry of historic local landmarks when the library purchased it in 2007. At the October 8th meeting of your Zoning and Annexation Committee, chaired by Councilperson Oliver Davis, I informed you then that the library director and the director of Historic Preservation had entered into a memorandum of understanding to recommend to their respective boards a resolution of this dispute. Under that proposal, the library would remove the terracotta from the building, give it to the Historic Preservation Commission, and the Historic Preservation Commission would withdraw this bill and allow demolition of the building. The following week, last week, October 15th, the majority of the Historic Preservation Commission voted to reject that memorandum of understanding proposed by their director and forced a decision on whether the building should be demolished on you. I will point out to you that your appointee to the Historic Preservation Commission did vote to accept the memorandum of understanding. And also, the director of Historic Preservation praised that proposal as being the best compromise that could be made. Now, I can inform you that at its meeting tonight, the library board adopted a resolution. That form of resolution is contained in the binders given to you by the library as Exhibit X, which is the last document in your binders. By this resolution, the library board states that if the Common Council rejects Bill 3512, which will thereby allow the library to demolish the Avon Theater, it is nonetheless the intention of the library board to have the terracotta removed prior to demolition. The library board voted tonight to let a contract that specializes in building restoration, to photograph, inventory, and remove the terracotta prior to demolition. The library will store the terracotta and will decide later on whether to offer the terracotta for sale, to donate it to a group for preservation, to use some or all of it in the new main library building, or some other use for the terracotta. There are a number of us who want to speak to you tonight. Library Director Don Napoli, Deb Laputa, Assistant Library Director, Robert Masters, Associate in my law office, will address the legal issue, and Nick Schaefer, the Library Development Coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Scott, you let them know how many minutes they have.
9 minutes and 21 seconds left.
My name is Donald J. Napoli, I'm the Director of the St. Joseph County Public Library. I reside at 1841 Mount Adams, South Bend, Indiana. You should have all received this large folder, a lot of reading. It sort of sums up everything that's taken place over the past 4 months, documentation. And my long 27-page letter that goes into all of the details as to what it's going to cost, why it's not redeemable. You're also going to hear from one of our engineers who studied the building from 2 different perspectives that show that there's some serious structural problems with that front facade. That facade, the terracotta, whether we tear it down or not, that terracotta needs to be taken off before anything is done, because the front wall has to be rebuilt. It's out of plumb, and it's so much out of plumb that it's, I don't say composed. It's quarter-inch out of plumb over 5-foot distance taken, and the code says no more than 10 feet. Quarter-inch, no more than 10 feet. Troy Magrum of Frost Engineering and Consulting will explain to you. But the building has a lot of problems, and I'm afraid they're not going to be solved with just a few dollars. Our solution is take the terracotta off, store it, take care of it, and find a way to use it later. We have an estimate of what's going to cost to do that. It's $69,000, and the library would pay for that cost. I'd be happy to answer any questions later that you have from this documentation. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you.
7 minutes and 28 seconds.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Fuda, the Assistant Director for the St. Joseph County Public Library. I live at 59866 River Road, South Bend. Demolition of the Avon does pave the way for a new main library, and we'd like to talk a little bit about that. What it takes to plan a new building of this magnitude. About 7 years may seem like a long time to plan. It was actually 5 years ago when we began to visualize a new central library for the community. Stretching from Western Avenue to Wayne Street with the Michigan Street facade, a new main library is poised to be the southern anchor to the downtown. Hours and hours of planning and discussion have already gone into these initial stages. It's disingenuous to believe that incorporating the Avon into a new main library would be an easy solution. To be urged to save a building with a crumbling facade and an interior that has no real redeeming features makes no sense to us. SJCPL has a history of building wisely and of being good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Our Center Township branch opened in 1999 was completely paid for on the day it opened. Lakeville branch, built in 2007, was also completely paid for on opening day. Funding a new main library takes years of planning, and we're in the middle of that planning right now. Our goal is to be able to build a new building without an increase in property taxes. We have a history of building projects, and we've achieved that goal, going all the way back to the 1980s. Our plan does include a bond issue for approximately half of the cost. And as for the rest, we're already in the process of saving operating and capital project funds. And we've established a development office back in 2011 to raise funds through donations. Our mission is to continue to be this community's library for life. Over 500,000 people still come through the main library doors every year. We've been meeting needs in this community for almost 125 years, much longer than the Avon, with its uneven history, was ever a part of South Bend. We're building the next generation of readers, an educated community is a productive and engaged community. We want to be right here in downtown South Bend, continuing to help our community learn and grow for the future and continuing to help South Bend be vital in that.
Good evening, I'm Bob Masters. I'm one of the attorneys for the library. The 211 West Washington Street in downtown South Bend. Mr. Scott, may I ask you how much time we have? 4 minutes, 49 seconds. Thank you. I appeared before Councilperson Davis's committee earlier today, and I told you what a privilege it was to speak on behalf of the library, because probably the only lawyer who can say he spent his day advocating for books. There's no reason you should know this about me, but I was an English major at Notre Dame, and when I worked in Chicago, I was a reading tutor on my lunch hour, and I am proud to say I got my library card from the Putt Ranch when I was in kindergarten. All that said about books, I want to talk to you for just a minute about Q. It was represented to you during the public comment that over 550 people belong to a Facebook group called Save the Avon, and it was suggested to you that all these people support saving the Avon. Now, a young lawyer will tell every young lawyer, stick to what you can prove in court. If this were a court of law, the evidence would be rejected as misleading and unreliable. Almost half of the people in that Facebook page were invited or added by either Historic Preservation itself, who, by the way, created the Facebook page, or the director. Now, why do I say that? Because if you're the administrator of a Facebook group, you can add people or invite them to your group, and they will show up as members of the group without having to give any consent. I know that to be a fact because I'm the administrator of an alumni group for my theater group at Notre Dame, and just to test this out, about a month ago I added my little brother who has no interest in our theater group, and he showed up as a member of the theater group. What I'm suggesting to you is that statistic showing all these people support Save the Avon is extraordinarily misleading. Those people are not indicative of support the Avon, and I think it might surprise you that some of the members of the town council in fact appear in that group as supporters of the Avon. I'm not saying that you support it, I'm not saying you oppose it, I'm saying you probably don't know that you were added to that group, just like a good deal of those people probably don't know that they were added to the group. That I thank you. Mr. Shakespeare.
2 minutes, 39 seconds. 2 minutes, 39 seconds.
Nick Schaefer, I'm the Communication and Development Coordinator for the library. There's been a lot of things talked about this evening, and one element that I would like to speak to is the issue of parking. Parking is a byproduct of this plan. It is an issue in downtown South Bend that we all know about. And in our long-term plan, as you see in the binders, we have addressed that. In the interim, once the space that is currently occupied by the former Avon Theater comes down, we will put up some parking as a temporary solution. But what you have to realize is that footprint in the schematics that are provided for you. The space occupied by the Avon Theater is what will be children's services. It's what will be local and family history. It is getting in the way of progress, and that is what we are here tonight to hope that you will agree with us to allow that progress to go forward.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask council members if you have any questions of the presenters that you would like to have clarification on. Okay. At this time, those, I'm sorry. Yes, Gavin has a question.
Just for clarification. I believe you stated that if the council does not grant this, that you would still preserve the terracotta facade. Did I understand that correctly? I know that was in the agreement, and the agreement was not signed.
Councilman Crowley, notwithstanding the fact that the Historic Preservation Commission outright rejected that proposed agreement, the library board on its own initiative tonight adopted a resolution. As I said, the resolution is Exhibit X in the binder we gave to you, in which it states, in which the library board determined that it is the intention of the library board, even if you vote against Bill 3512 and allow the demolition of the building, to have that terracotta removed prior to demolition. In fact, the library board voted tonight to let a contract to a contractor that specializes in building restoration for the purpose of removing the terracotta, photographing it, inventorying it. The library will store the terracotta itself. Previously, under the memorandum of understanding, we had offered it to historic preservation. They rejected that. The library will store the terracotta, and then a decision will be made later on whether to use the terracotta in the new building, offer it for sale, donate it to a group that wants to preserve it, make some other use of it. But if the library is committed to preserving the terracotta, let me just, if I can, editorialize just a little bit. Mr. Natalie is adamant in preserving some piece of the Avon Theater for use in the main library. He will tell you what he pointed out tonight at the library board meeting, and I have actually forgotten. When the library built the new library down the Lakeville, if you pass through Lakeville, you'll see it right there on the main street on US 31. They demolished a building that had been there since 1830 and was being used by the, I believe, the Masons. There were timbers in that building that were part of the original construction. A decision was made by the architects to preserve as many of those timbers as could be preserved, as it turned out. It wasn't much because they were old and termite riddled. But some of those timbers are in the building. They are actually incorporated into the building at Lakeville. And there's a plaque that says that these timbers came from the original building. And so the same idea is here, that Mr. Natalie wants to use some part of that terracotta. Part of it will be determined on once we get it off. We think a large part of that terracotta is not going to be used. It's capable of being used in the future because it's so damaged. But to the extent that it can be used, the idea is to incorporate some part of it in the new building as a memento or a monument to the building that was taken down to make way for the new building.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, we'll ask thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll ask those wishing to speak in opposition that you please come to the podium at this time. Those speaking in opposition, we do ask you to state your name and your address. Again, anyone wishing to speak in opposition, we do ask that you come to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Troy Madlow, 201 Lincoln Way West in Mishawaka. I'm a structural engineer hired by the library to inspect the facade and the brick backup wall. Just summarizing some of our findings, which are in the binder. We found extensive areas of deterioration.
So you speak in opposition?
Yes.
Okay. To the bill. Okay, great. Yes.
Our findings included areas of deterioration across the facade with structural delamination of the terracotta from the backup wall covering 10 to 15% of the facade. We also found the cracked terracotta bricks that sit above the second-story windows and shifted out approximately a half inch, with the wall above that area, as Don mentioned, leans forward towards the sidewalk, approximately 1/2 inch for every 4 feet vertical distance. So that's a total of 1.5 inches out of plumb, sticking out towards the sidewalk. Another area of particular concern included the terracotta under the north pinnacle, where we found 3 of the blocks that separated from the adjacent terracotta brick and also the backup wall. So they're sitting essentially loose in place and subject to falling. 30 seconds. It's our opinion that this cave was caused by decades of water intrusion and neglect. This is evidenced by brick ties that have rusted and separated from the structure behind it. The ceiling support has 100% section loss in this area where the deterioration is. I guess that's your time.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing, I do ask that you please come to the podium at this time.
My name is Linda Riley. I live at 1326 East 20 North. I'm asking you to vote no on designating the Avon Theater as a landmark. I'm wholeheartedly for historic preservation. However, as a local citizen and taxpayer, I'm opposed to spending public, private, and library donations on this building. Landmark designation is about protecting important architecture. And I question if this is important architecture. So please think twice before you vote to spend money to save it.
Thank you. Seeing no one else wishing to speak in opposition, we will give the presenter a 5-minute rebuttal, and after which time we'll go directly to the council portion for discussion.
Not impeding any design provisions of the library to offer this community. Our focus is to be on theater. It's unfortunate that we both converge on one piece of property and structure. Historic preservation of South Bend and St. Joseph County, in this particular case, is making a recommendation on the betterment of downtown South Bend. I know that this county library is a neighbor of our downtown, and I only wish that they would be more willing to find compromise within the historic architecture of our downtown. I'm not sure if I have anything else to read. I don't want to get into a match with the library over the legalization and for the tax dollars, but all I can say, and all I can bring to you is that there are opportunities with this building if the library wanted to relinquish control of it. I don't think to Councilman Davis's point that it has been marketed properly in the past. And again, I can't take responsibility for that because I wasn't part of the marketing team for the last 30 years that didn't push it forward. But I do know that there's a significant amount of public interest right now. And our office has been contacted by individuals that were interested in maybe seeking permission to buy the building. Again, I don't speak for them, but what I can tell you is that whenever you have some public support coming around and routing some things like this, these things come up and they happen. 30 years ago, there were a lot more buildings to choose from, too. And the critical mass issue that I spoke about earlier was that we really have a shortage of historic buildings. If we're trying to be cohesive about developing any kind of cultural heritage tourism program, getting monies for that kind of thing, and growing our historic architecture and revitalizing it, then everyone that we lose makes it harder and harder and harder to get those applications through. So, from that standpoint, the Avon does pay for a significant part of the downtown. Contrary to what the attorney for the library would claim, you won't find another building like that. And it's a no-brainer that it's got historic integrity and some architectural merit. On our side, the petitioner's side, you have Professor Richard Stiles from the University of Notre Dame, who's all qualified to make that argument. So, instead of listening to attorneys and maybe folks like me, you can put it in the hands of qualified architects and historians and make a more informed decision that way.
Thank you. The rebuttal is for the petitioner only. At this time, we're going to move directly to the council portion for discussion. We thank you so much. At this time, we're going to start with First District Councilmember Tim Scott, and we're going to go directly to second, third, fourth, and thereafter.
I wish there was a compromise reached by both parties. I think that's the live in a historic area, and you have to work the economics to it. So that's all I want to say.
Councilmember Kenny Davis.
Thank you. I got quite a bit out earlier. I guess council rules. No disrespect, man.
No.
But definitely, I see both sides of the argument. I'm still a little bit perplexed on how if saved, if given its historical tag, this goes into developmental stage that hasn't, I guess, haven't been the same as the other examples I gave out with the hotel Baghdadi, et cetera. Marquette School now being the next one. And I understand that many of you have not participated on those particular case scenarios. However, those are the things that I didn't remember as to being even a path for historical designation, and they just still exist and sit there. Here recently, we had an opportunity with redevelopment to give the group out of Zoo more time to find funding for the hotel. But we can't touch it regardless because of this historical tag. And it continues to stay on that corner, you know, and just sit. It just sits. As many of our other historical buildings. Look, I'll be the first person to tell you that the architectural value of these buildings downtown need to be saved. I went to school for that. I like those things. I love those things. But when you're playing with this dollars and cents game, where do we come out at? And who's going to foot the bill? I'm just really concerned about how does that happen. I'm also concerned because, again, the library owns the building. The council sitting here deciding the matter. I still don't understand why it's in front of us. I guess because we need to say yes or no to the historical tag. But I've been asking since forever about a downtown plan. I've been asking the administration for an understanding of where we're going with this. We just can't continue to just decide case by case scenario without a vision or a mission. I'm not asking for a book that's 6 inches high or 6 to say this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to be at, but some sort of philosophy, some understanding that comes directly from the administration that these things look like they're fitting into a broader plan. I think the council is out on the island with this, and whether we vote for it or not, somebody's going to say, well, you guys don't know what you're doing, somebody's going to say you did a great job, and then we'll let them hold it back, and then the administration continues on and do whatever they choose to do. I think that we all need to share in on this conversation. I think that we need to understand what the vision is for the downtown area. We started this with the Chase Talk back in January. Still haven't heard anything about that. Now we're across the street and down the street from there with this particular building, along with all the other things that we claim that would be wonderful, but we don't see any evidence of a plan. And I'm really frustrated at the fact that we have not and have yet to receive a plan. We have not. We don't even know what a vision even looks like for the administration. So I think that we have a lot of little different angles that we need to look at. And I wish it was a compromise. I am still hoping that somebody says, I have a good compromise and we just walk out here all happy. But I don't think that's where we're going with this. But I'm looking for some leadership from the mayor. I'm done.
Thank you. Councilwoman Shay?
Sure. Well, I'd like to share both with my council colleagues as well as with our guests tonight that I received emails and letters of sworn against this, as well as some phone calls from residents both strongly for this and strongly against it. So that brings us to tonight where we have to make a decision on this, and I will share with you up front, I will not be supporting this bill, but I also want to share with you why. Our libraries provide a vital service in our community. In light of the $10 million budget cuts that our schools will be taking in this year, the library has become an even more important resource for the children in our community. I will not support the use of the library's unencumbered funds to preserve history while we are actively cutting the amount we invest in our future, which is in our children. So I will not be supporting this bill this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Furlick?
First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor for his direction. I think that the market will determine how South Bend survives, how all our districts survive. And that's where Ignition Park and Innovation Park come in. So I'm not sure you can't let the invisible hand handle development in South Bend. That being said, this is not a priority, I do not believe. We have 1,800 vacant abandoned houses in South Bend. 3 of our 10 schools 2 years ago were on probation in the state. 20 to 30% of our kids did not graduate, so I think the library is more of a priority to me. in the historic building. Secondly, I think in order to attract young people, you have to have modern buildings. Go down to Columbus, Indiana. I was in Raleigh, North Carolina last week at Triangle. They got jobs coming out of the wazoo. For young people, you have to have modern buildings. An old guy like me likes to look at them, but I don't count. And lastly, I think if something like this in the future is to be done, you need to use private money. And if Notre Dame, which is my alma mater and I love, wants to put money towards it, I think that's great. And I think anybody that wants to preserve it should do it on a private basis, and it should not be a taxpayer issue. So I thought that they reached a wonderful compromise, and I'm happy for both sides because I think that the library's gone overboard in preservation, and I think that I'm very happy with the situation. I didn't create an all or none. There wasn't a winner or loser in this one. I'm very pleased with what we've arrived at, I think.
Thank you. Councilmember Dave Varner.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. Normally, I'm a big supporter of historic preservation. I have in the past when it came to some of the high schools and some of the elementary schools. This is one of those projects that I just have a difficult time getting my arms around. It's been a vacant and abandoned building for so many years. For as long as I can remember, and one gentleman said 93, I remember 60-some years back in this community, and it doesn't seem like there was much going on even that many years around the old Avon. So, I won't be supporting it. I do want to thank people for trying to reach a compromise. I think that was the fondest wish of everyone who had to participate and sit through this, and for those of us on the council, we've been sitting through this for about the last 6 weeks. Absent a compromise that reached, I do appreciate the efforts of the library to preserve the terracotta tiles. I will tell you that you don't need to like another terracotta building for downtown South End. I think that the facade of the State Theater is largely terracotta. I think the old National Bank building, which is a lovely old building, terracotta facade. It wouldn't surprise me if some of the brickwork on the Palais and some of the other decorative work in the Palais Morse project are also terracotta of a certain vintage. I also know from experience that you can remove these tiles and restore them and repair them. I've seen it done in Chicago with some very large projects. So this is the best we can do. This is the best we can do, but I appreciate the efforts of everyone trying to get this resolved. And for that reason, I will not support the designation of this as a historic landmark. I think sometimes we just take it for granted.
Councilman Oliver Davis.
Yes, Chairman White. When I saw the activities of the discussion between both parties involved in this matter, I knew it was headed to the Zoning and Annexation Committee. So I started looking closer and closer and closer, and trying to make a decision. Two things stood out for me when I first heard about it and over the discussions. These are the 2 points. Number one, when the library bought the Avon, they bought it with the intent of demolishing it. That was all written. That was all agreed to. Okay, when I saw that was the reason they bought that and everything was signs of that, I was like, wow, okay. And then the second thing, it was not considered a landmark designated building or structure at the time. Those 2 things, if they had bought it, and now we're coming up with this whole issue of whether we want to demolish it or not, and that's something that was brand new in the recent discussions, okay, I probably could lean on the side a lot more. If it was already considered a designated building, I like old buildings myself, with all due respect to my colleague, Councilman Furless, Dr. Furless. A lot of young people still like old buildings too. So we do. I mean, I got an old house, and so I'm getting some grade because of some other issues, but not because of that, no. But the thing about it is, even younger people, even me, like older buildings. A lot of folks I know like older buildings. I like the class, the style, the structure, the way they were built years ago. But we did not have a landmark destination. And those two key issues for me that I've been reviewing this whole thing, first, the intent of when they bought it. They bought it with the intent to demolish it. And second,
it was not designated a landmark status building or structure. To now bring that back in with the importance of everything else is something to me doesn't rise to the level of us being able to honor this request tonight. And those are the key things that I look at. I've been following historical preservation for many years. Where my church sits, we sit on the old Scholar Colfax old property, so I'm having to be made aware of that when I came to town over 20 years ago of how we have to follow the guidelines and that whole neighborhood. So I've been pretty much made aware of their rules and regulations way before I got on this council. But those two things are the reason why I cannot support that tonight. Basically because the intent and the current designation. Thank you both for your compromise. I like the fact I see people struggling towards compromise. It makes our life easier. And
thank you.
Thanks.
Councilman Forward.
Sure. First, thanks to the HBC and the library for your presentations and all the information you provided to us, as well as the supporters from both sides. Had the opportunity to read a lot of emails, take a lot of phone calls on this issue, so thank you for that. Also, thank you for the efforts to reach a compromise. It's unfortunate that the compromise wasn't able to be ratified by both parties, but thank you and it's commendable for your efforts. Also, if this does not pass, thanks to the library for the preservation efforts for the facade. Do appreciate that. I'm a large supporter of arts and theater and music in our downtown area. However, again, if this does not pass, please consider directing folks towards an effort to really revitalize the State Theater. And I'll be honest, I participated in the business plan competition, but I'm no longer involved in the business. I have a separate career, so this isn't a conflict of interest, but there's a gentleman, Andrew Elegante, who is managing that facility and really trying to revitalize what the State Theater is. So please focus your efforts, and somebody mentioned crowdsource funding, that's outstanding, whether it's promotion or just getting involved to really bring arts and theater back to life in our downtown. I think the State Theater is a great opportunity to do that.
Councilman Deegan? I was going to, do you have any comments?
Well, I make my comments goes right into my motion.
Okay. I would like to say that, again, I sincerely appreciate both sides' willingness to work. This has been a tough issue. The ability to try to reach compromise, unfortunately, was not reached. I continue to respect the library, even though a compromise was not reached, that you have made some commitments to reserve parts of the Avon if this bill is not passed. As we continue to work towards developing our downtown area, it's going to take each and every one of you, our citizens, government, business, both public and private, to work together to ensure that we have the type of downtown that can attract and retain not only businesses, but to bring individuals to our community. A lot of the comments that have been made by council members I do support. As we move forward, I will not be supporting this particular bill that's before us.
Very good, thank you. We'll cut to the chase. Basically, again, thanks Tim and our board. They're doing their job, which is to bring forth this recommendation. Our job to make a vote. I appreciate the library was basically preserving anything which is historically significant. So thank you for that. That being said, I move for unfavorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion that is before us, by reading vote. Aye. Those opposed? Nay. Okay. The motion carries 8-1. This bill will be sent to the full council with unfavorable recommendation.
Make a motion to continue 5412 to 1029. So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may hear your vote.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. At this time, I ask City Clerk John Vorty to give second reading to Bill 55-12.
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salary for the mayor for the calendar year 2013.
The Personnel and Finance held a committee meeting on Bill 55-12, and we send this bill to the council with a favorable recommendation. At this time, we ask our presenter to come before the council as a petitioner to state your name and address and to give us a brief summary of Bill 55-12.
Pete Buttigieg, Mayor of South Bend, offices on the 14th floor of this building. The bill is intended to have the office of mayor's salary cap float up by 2% in keeping with what is proposed for the council, the clerk, and most non-bargaining employees of the city of South Bend this year. And I would ask that council vote favorably.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the petitioner? Thank you. At this time, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 55-12? Anyone present wishing to speak in support of this bill? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed. If you move and second it, all those in favor of the motion, may hear your vote. All those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 55-12 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Beard, will you please give second reading to Bill 56-12?
Public hearing on a bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, fixing the annual pay and monetary fringe benefits of sworn members of the South Bend Police Department for calendar years 2013, 2014, and 2015.
I would now like to entertain a motion to accept the substitute version of this bill. So moved, second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may hear your vote.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion is carried. The Personnel and Finance Committee, as well as the Health and Public Safety Committee, has a joint meeting on substitute bill 56-12, and we send it to the council with a favorable recommendation. We do have a petitioner before us. State your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Councilmember White. And second, Mr. Chairman, the council attorney that in this capacity on the council occasion, earlier this spring, you adopted a resolution appointing me as your council representative for the purpose of public safety negotiations. The bill before you is being recommended on behalf of the city advisory team, which was composed of Councilmember Karen White, Councilmember Tim Scott, Councilmember at Large Gavin Furlick as the alternate, our city controller, Mark Neal, our uniform division chief, Jeff Walters, our division chief for services, Barry Horvath, and Richard Sullivan was the agent representing the Board of Public Safety. On October 10th, the city offered their last best and final offer to the FOP negotiating team, and we reached a tentative agreement. The bill before you, the substitute version, sets forth the terms and conditions of that, and I would like to recommend or advise the council that this evening we're merely talking about setting the maximum salaries and monetary fringe benefits. We are not talking about the police budget. You will have that opportunity this Wednesday to have further discussion. In summary, we are recommending a 2-year salary ordinance. It would maintain the same insurance rates that all other city employees would be receiving for next year at those rates, and Exhibit A sets forth what those rates would be. It recommends that the Board of Public Safety would designate the Martin Luther King as a designated holiday for officers that work a regular schedule of 5 on and 2 off. It begins a residency incentive program for all officers that would live in the city of South Bend city limits. It makes a minor adjustment with regard to trying to attract more senior officers that have 8 years more of service, that work the midnight shift and also the afternoon shift. It includes the recommendation of the police administration that we adjust the uniform crime scene technician specialty pay and also create, in light of the growing meth labs, the training that we need for special officers to be certified as a meth technician. It also, in the event that the police department would create a limited English proficiency program to address the needs of our community as it changes demographically, it would create a special pay for that, and it makes minor adjustments with regard to longevity. The council will recall that in 2010 and 2011, there were no across-the-board raises given at all for any sworn members of the South Bend Police Department. We are recommending a 2.5% increase for both 2013 and 2014. And again, it was a pleasure to serve with the council members and the city administration on this, and I know that Steve Noonan, the president of the SOP, will also have comments later.
Thank you. Are there any questions, council members have of petitioner? Councilmember, Vita?
Yes, under P for on-duty call police, when that goes over $65,000 per category, where does the rest of that funds come from?
It's $650 total for an assigned officer. We've never had this situation happen, so I would assume that an additional appropriation...
Would, I guess, the chief will not give you a breakdown of, because I know for a fact that 4 or 5 different people on this may be called at one time. So, that's just...
Per officer.
And then was it broken down of how many people receive that, or just people listed?
That is addressed in the budget, so we would have that lump sum amount. I don't have that figure before.
So there's only 10 people are going to receive that on call.
No, the allotted amount per category would be that. They would have to come for another appropriation if it goes above that.
But the ones that the categories you list, there's 10 of them.
Yes.
So each of those categories would receive
that. Is correct.
So, out of that, how do you, well, I guess we're going to have to get some more about that, so let's break it down.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and this is the same amount that was in the last
paper. But there's a description, well, we talked about that description.
Yes, Councilmember Davis?
This bill is only setting the salary cap.
It's setting the maximum salaries and the maximum monetary fringe benefits only.
At this time, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on behalf of Substitute Bill 56-12? Anyone present wishing to speak in favor of the substitute bill?
Good evening. My name is Steve Noonan. I'm the president of the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 36. I work out at the Central Police Station at 701 West Sampson. First off, I'd like to thank the council for negotiations that went very smooth this year. I particularly like to recognize Councilmember White as well as Councilmember Scott. I'd also like to thank the Mayor Pete's administration, particularly Mark Neal, for his involvement. I would recommend that you pass this. I think it passed our membership overwhelmingly. In addition to not only what it does for the current police officers, I think you as council members have to look at what it can bring for our future officers. As a matter of fact, you mentioned Division Chief Walters at Kathy did, as mentioning Division Chief Walters. He is one that's retiring. We've had some retirements. There's others pending. So I believe that in order to stay competitive and get the best officers for the city, we need to be competitive with other police departments. So I would urge you to take that into consideration as well. And I would also like to thank Kathy for all of her hard work.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present wishing to speak on behalf of Substitute Bill 56-12? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed. We'll move to the council portion discussion. I will start from this end and go all the way down to 1st District. Councilman,
before we start, I would just like to disclose I've been a member of the South Bend Police Department since 1975. And our council attorney and I'm able to speak about issues here and also vote on it. The biggest issue, I have 2 big issues. One, I was distinctly under the impression that the King Holiday was not going to be a negotiated entity of any of this contract. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. And I guess we'll have to go back and compare original resolution in some of the meetings that we had, because I specifically asked if this was going to be used as a negotiating tool, and unless I completely misunderstood, every answer I got was no, this is going to be in the contract for both police and fire. And I think the other thing has to do with the health insurance, and Martell, I guess we're going to have to follow up on that later, because again, there's a number of officers who are not in the FOP, me being one of them. And once I retire, or any officer that retires, you do not receive the same health premium payments as someone who is in the FOP, so I do have an issue with that that I'll address later. So,
Thank you.
I'll pass it on to Mr.
Okay.
Phillips.
Councilman Phillips, any comments?
No, I'll just say thank you to Karen and Tim for their outstanding work representing the council during negotiations, and thanks to the administration as well as the FOP. Thanks, Steve.
Councilman Davis?
Yes, thank you, Councilman White. John, will there be any time later to address President Dita's issue regarding the benefits for those who are retiring who are not a part of the FOP? When can we, where is that addressed?
Not under this. If the council goes forward with this for 2013 and 14, we can address it, unless there was an MOU perhaps, but the steps forth in much greater detail in the collective bargaining agreement, which was adopted by the Board of Public Safety, and they have to have that language approved before the end of the year.
So that could, I do that discussion, could
Okay, we can have continued.
Is there any way we could draft a letter to do that? I do think that's important. I concur with President Dita that we need to look out for the issues regarding those officers that are not a part of the FOP, and
It was not specifically addressed during the negotiations, and based on past negotiations, my understanding that the bylaws that basically dictate the provisions, not necessarily the CBA, or the contract in it, is only issued by the city or the ordinance, so this is separate bylaws.
bylaws about who?
Bylaws of the FOP.
Okay, so it would be up to them to make that determination. Okay, so, and then also, there was supposed to be something else regarding to the public works that we talked about this afternoon, another letter, what was that?
The holiday.
And so that letter, okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
Councilman Phillips? Councilman Phillips?
It was my understanding on Martin Luther King Day that he certainly deserved recognition, certainly deserved a day. But at that time, I believe city employees were getting 10 days, the 10th one being the floating holiday. Private employees, we employ 225 people in South and Orthopedics, get 7 days a year. So my understanding was that the 10th day, the floating day, would be the Martin Luther King Day. And when I inquired to Mr. Neal, I believe he said that every holiday costs the city about $240,000. So that's why I voted to have Martin Luther King replace the floating holiday, making 10 holidays for city employees instead of adding another one, 11 days.
Where'd you vote that one?
Okay, we're not gonna tell them, we're gonna keep going, and you can clarify that with your council person after this is just meeting. Councilman Shirley?
Councilman White, my point raised earlier regarding the 19 officers for shift and then the $200 overtime. Is that appropriate at this time?
Well, overtime would be part of the budget, because I think that's in the budget, so that would come up with the big issue. Kathy, can you respond to the best way to address that issue?
The collective bargaining agreement does have one article that says minimum numbers of officers for each person. And under the 19, and that has been increased I think that is the appropriate section Wednesday of the personnel finance committee to see the document.
Councilman Henry Davis, we'll make sure it comes up on here.
I'm a very firm believer in keeping things at a standard and not letting them out until everything has been hashed out. I have the same issues as me and my council members Valerie would say with the beat issue. I think I haven't been very quiet about a lot of it. I think earlier today I just named some issues. King Holiday as well being an issue. I talked about minority hiring, I talked about the whole situation with hate, all the things that we're going through with the police force, sat down with the FOP. I've worked at this, from the second district council person's perspective, and I've worked diligently. Hopefully that there was some type of conversation that was progressive rather than rewarding what looks like to be bad policing. I understand that we're setting the maximum salary right now and the fringe benefits, but my constituency base is not happy. We know that. We've been clear on that. People are afraid of the police or either angry at the police. It's the truth. I understand that all police officers are not bad. I'm aware of that. We have some good ones, some very, very good ones. Some of them I may call my friends. I hope Sergeant Howard Johnson becomes the next police chief. I say that out loud. That's my endorsement. I hope it helps. But the truth is that South Bend is not happy. And that's the truth. And I cannot be for anything that deals with the police force until some of those things that we've asked the administration to deal with, minus the legal implications, because there are no illegal implications, that's been said over 1,000 times, to deal with these things. And it'll be less than representative if I did not continue to fight for my district and the people in this city that are unhappy with the output of the South Bend Police Department. I have no issue with the FOP. I have no problem coming and talk with you guys again. No issue. But there are some hardcore issues that even you, if you were not a citizen, would say the same thing that I'm saying. Even if you were not a police officer, you would say the same thing. So we have to detach ourselves sometimes from our jobs and our titles to really look at this objectively. It's not good. As a matter of fact, it keeps business away. If people don't feel safe in the community, they move or they don't show up. Matter of fact. And when we have presented and what we continue to present is a very, very bad picture. And at the end of the day, we're not working at it. Lots of big courts, lawsuit here, lawsuit there. We don't know, we can't speak about it because somebody said they make freedom. I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's do our job. And sending things to court is not our job. So, I would not be in favor of this, or even a bill that comes on Wednesday, because of this issue. I'm speaking as a representative. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Scott.
Thank you. I just want to say, Mr. Newton, the FOP, thank you for your negotiations. Being on the other side, it was smooth. I think we went through a lot of issues. Mark Neal, I want to thank you for your team, and the mayor for members of the team, and especially for Kathy and Darren. It was very good education on last one. I think it was a very good deal in light of our budget for the salaries for our officers. So thank you all for good education and teamwork on it.
Okay, at this time, I would like to entertain a motion. I would like to thank everyone, the team, Mark Neal, administration, Kathy, and team members. This was a very smooth process this year. I was very appreciative of the FOP team and the way that we were able to give and take and to work through issues to reach the agreement that has been ratified by the FOP at this particular time. If there's no further discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion.
One more point.
Yes.
Again, on the holidays, like Dr. Furlick alluded to, this then morphed into a financial thing, which I think was part of the negotiation, and it was originally intended not to be anywhere involved in there. And if you read it, some members of the police department, if this is passed by the board, would receive that. So that's the biggest issue I have when it was originally given to us at the beginning of the year, of the holiday. This was no question asked, it's across the board, bargaining, non-bargaining, everybody gets it. So, that being said, I move for unfavorable recommendation. Second.
We move and second it. All those in favor of the motion that's on the table at this point, may I hear your vote?
Aye.
Those opposed? Nay.
Motion for favorable adoption, or send to the full council?
Substitute
I
bill.
apologize, motion to send to the full council with the substitute. Sorry.
Substitute bill.
Bring this one, 5612.
With favorable recommendation. Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion may hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, this substitute bill 56-12 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. We will be continuing bill 57-12. Do we need a motion? It's been moving. So October the 29th. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion? Those opposed, the motion carries. Mr. Vorty, will you please give second reading to bill 58-12?
Public hearing on a bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salaries for council members for calendar year 2013.
The Personnel and Finance Committee held a committee meeting on this bill. We sent it to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Do we have a presenter, please?
Yes, ma'am. When will Tim be back? Will you need to hear this, or will he be back? We can have you on the road. I'll talk slowly. As president of the council, I am the person who is responsible for proposing salaries for this body, which we are able to vote for. Therefore, as stated earlier by the mayor and also proposed for the clerk's office, I'm proposing a 2% increase, as we have every year when it does come up to this council. I believe that our council attorney can give me the last time the council approved a raise, which was the last time this council had a raise.
About 7 years ago.
7 years ago. That being said, I Controller Mark Neal did state this would fit into the parameters of the levy that is being assessed from the city of South Bend, and it would cost the taxpayers no extra funding for this council to receive a 2% raise. I wish for your favorable recommendation. Council member, committee at all, Ms. White.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of the petitioner? At this time, we'll go to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on behalf of Bill 58-12? Speaking in favor.
I just want to say, in light of all that the citizens and citizens groups and people within the city have put you guys through this year, you deserve 2%.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present?
Go ahead.
Reverend Greg Brown, 1238 Vineland. I'm in favor of it. First of all, I give honor to God, and I thank God for y'all as a group and as individuals. Because I don't think I want to do your job. My job is hard enough. But I just want to say thank you, and I'm in favor of it.
Thank you.
And I think Harmon was sure the same thing I want to say. You guys have done a good job, and we're going to do your job. So, there's it also.
Thank you.
Here is public, Joe Vice President, 94 South Bend, Indiana, 46619. I would just like to say I'm in favor of the council's 2% raise, and you've done an excellent job. All of you have done an excellent job. I'd like to say you keep the good work up and keep your eyes on the city of South Bend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition to Bill 58-12? Seeing no one, the public hearing portion is now closed. We're moving to the council portion.
Move for favor of passage.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion may hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed?
Nay.
The motion carries and will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Board, will you please give second reading to Bill 59-12?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salary for the city clerk for selling.
You would like to read that again?
With your permission, I'll make some very brief comments from...
First, I need to give you the committee report. I know you're very anxious. The Personnel and Finance Committee held a committee meeting on Bill 59-12 and sent it to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. I would ask for the same favorable consideration given to the majority of you have given to the mayor and yourself. And ask for that same for calendar year 2013. I'm pretty much prohibited from asking for my computer.
Council members, do you have any questions of the petitioner? If not, we go to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on behalf of Bill 59-12 in support of this bill? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Okay.
One question and a comment. Mr. Ward, did you tell me when Mr. Duna was the third company raise that she ever got?
I have no idea.
I'm over favor of
All those in favor of this motion, I will vote. Those opposed, the motion carries. Mr. Board, will you please give second reading to Bill 61-12?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Section 2-13A and B of the South Bend Municipal Code to change the name of the Community and Economic Development Department to the Community Investment Department and to make all other changes consistent therewith.
Thank you. The Personnel and Finance Committee held a committee meeting public hearing on Bill 61-12, and we send this bill to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Do we have a presenter?
Good evening. The intent of this bill is to update the name of the Community and Economic Development Department to the Department of Community Investment. What we're trying to do is signal that that department has a new structural and strategic approach. We felt the old name of Community and Economic Development may give a misleading impression that those are two separate disciplines, and in fact we think that they're clearly intertwined. And the new approach to structuring that department, which has 5 rather than 2 groups, all which work together in an interdisciplinary and nimble fashion, we feel is better captured by the name Department of Community Investment rather than Department of Community and Economic Development. I ask council to look favorably on this proposal.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of the mayor?
Yes.
Councilmember Davis?
There's a lot in the name. I just don't always believe or think that because you give it a name, it doesn't mean anything. I think a name states exactly what the purpose is or what that person, who that person is. And as you're going to community investment, we had a conversation in the back earlier today about community investment and the lack thereof, and the lack of planning as we just did with the downtown area. I am going to hope just because of the name change, because it is a name change, that those things become priority at this point. You saw the public outcry for those particular areas, whether they were the best arguments or not, but clearly we all can see with our two eyes that those investments need to be made. So I will be supporting this, but I will also be holding you accountable to make sure that those investments and those plans will be made for those areas because it's needed. As a matter of fact, they're both in the second district actually, when you thought about that. So I would definitely be in support of true investment in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Any other comments? Sure, now we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak on behalf of Bill 61-12? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing is now closed.
I'll make a recommendation for Hope, because that's what the poster says. So, favorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote. All those opposed, the motion carries.
I will move, we will take a short recess, and we will start promptly at 10 of 10.
10 of 10. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion? Okay, I will now entertain the motion to rise from the committee as a whole.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion?
Now, council is now in session. I believe we would be ready to go to 5512, correct? Okay. Mr. Hoody, third reading of 3512. We got a quorum?
Yes, we do.
3512, third reading.
Reading on the bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance and establishing historic landmark status for the structure and real property known as the Avon Theater, located at 307 South Michigan in the city of South Bend, Indiana.
May I have a motion to defeat?
Second.
A motion to defeat and a second. Mr. Hoody.
On the motion to defeat,
When you say motion to defeat, what exactly is that? Okay, so somebody votes yea for this is to object against or
So we're still reading the roll on the motion to defeat.
yes. Mr. Henry Davis. I'm going to go on clear on where we're at, so.
We have a motion to defeat.
Oh, next. Mrs. Shea.
yay. You said yay.
Yes.
Dr. Warner.
Aye.
Vice President Alberti.
She's not here yet.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick.
Aye.
President Davis. 8 voting, 7 ayes, 1 nay.
Thank you very much. Now we're 5512, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. 5512.
Third reading on a bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salary for the mayor for the calendar year 2013.
Move for the passage of Bill 55-12.
Second.
The motion and a second. Mr. Woody.
Mr. Henry Davis. Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Furlick.
Aye.
Dr. Warner.
Aye.
Vice President Alberti. Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick.
Aye.
Aye. President Peters.
Aye. I'm back.
Vice President Alberti. Aye. That would be 9 ayes.
Thank you. 5612, please.
Third reading on the bill of the common council of the city of South Bend, Indiana, fixing the annual pay and monetary fringe benefits of sworn members of the South Bend Police Department for calendar years 2013 and 2014.
I move to have the amended version.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposition to that? Now, may we have a recommendation for the amended version of 5612?
Move to the passage of amended version 5612.
Second.
A motion to second. That's what it is. Call the roll.
Aye.
Dr. Furlick.
Aye.
Dr. Byrne.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
It's 56-12, right? Nay.
President Davis.
Nay.
The vote is 7-2 in favor.
Thank you. 5812.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salaries for the council members for calendar year 2013.
Move for the passage of 5812.
Second. Wording.
Dr. Purvis.
Nay.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Purvis.
Nay.
Mr. Scott.
Nay.
Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
President Dean.
Aye.
The vote is 6-3 in favor.
Thank you. 5912.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the annual salary for the city clerk for calendar year 2013.
Move for the passage of Bill 59-12.
Second.
Dr. Barber.
Aye.
Vice President Dr. Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Purvis.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Pruitt.
Aye.
President Dean.
Aye.
That'd be nine, huh?
There you go. All right. Thank you. 6112.
61-12. Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Section 2-13A and B of the South Bend Municipal Code to change the name of the Community and Economic Development Department to the Community Investment Department and to make all other changes consistent therewith.
Move for favorable passage.
Second.
Ms. Wording.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Purvis.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Purvis.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Howard Davis.
Aye.
President Peters. 9 ayes.
See to resolution 1270.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a petition of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at west of and adjacent to 1441 North Michigan Street, South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you very much. I believe earlier today in the committee room located behind us, we had a committee meeting, and during that time, we spoke about the pros and cons of this, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and it came to the council with a favorable report.
Thank you.
Very quick favorable report.
South Lafayette. Quick summary, this is the old St. Joe High School site. The high school moving, Notre Dame has purchased to the building. Southern Holy Cross is attempting to purchase the parking lot that goes with that. As part of that, because it is separate ownership from the parking and the building, they're seeking a special exception to continue use of that parking lot for the building. It comes to an annual civil recommendation.
Thank you very much. Any questions of Mr. Lyons? None. Presenters.
Greetings, President Dieter, members of the council. My name is Rich Deal with offices at 100 North Michigan Street. I'm here pleased to join Tim Sexton and Richard Nussbaum to request your favorable approval. As Mark said, this simply approves the continued use of the parking to serve the former St. Joe High School and athletic fields.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing that, anyone like to speak in favor? Or opposition? Council, recommendation.
For the adoption of 1270.
Second. Majority.
Mr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Howard Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Deere.
Aye.
9 ayes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 1276.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend designating certain areas within the City of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 1038 Notre Dame Avenue as residentially distressed areas for purposes of a 5-year residential real property tax abatement for David W. and Mary B. Murphy.
Committee report, Mr. Davis.
CE committee met this afternoon and sent the council a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. And Mr. Murphy, if there's any way we can make this abatement bigger because you had to sit here through this, we will, but just short presentation of your project, please.
Good evening, Mary Murphy. Retired Fisher graduate resident of Notre Dame. October 5th, petition is filed for residential tax abatement at 1038 Notre Dame Ave. It was filed with the city clerk by David and myself. We intend to construct a 2,500 to 2,700 square foot building. The home will have 3 to 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, a finished basement, 2-car garage, and a screening porch. The project is part of the Notre Dame Avenue housing program and will follow the design standards required by that program. The cost of the home will be between $450,000 and $500,000, and total taxes to be abated during the 5-year abatement period are estimated at $1,893. Total taxes to be paid during the 5-year abatement period are estimated in the range of $23,367 to $26,190.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions from the council? Comment or question? We'll do the comments after anyone from the public like to speak in favor? No opposition? Now, council members, comments?
All right, just quickly, I got to know your husband, David. He's a fantastic asset to our community with both his team program as well as In Focus. However, I just think residential tax abatement should be reserved for areas that are more underdeveloped as a way to incentivize development that would not otherwise take place. And thanks to the work of many council members, even before I was on the council, this area, Notre Dame Avenue, is now a very attractive place for development. With that said, I think development on this property would occur without a tax abatement. Therefore, I will not be supporting it.
All right, thank you. You want to comment or you want to make a motion?
Comment.
By the way.
Just quickly, this is one thing, being on the vacant abandoned task force that I've brought up that I think the administration and county in CID needs to do more promotional, a better promotional job with, so people understand that there is tax abatement. This has been brought up as vacant abandoned areas, and we need to help promote it, and I think this is a good example of vacant abandoned.
So you want to favor?
I move for favorable production.
And I second it.
Did you have a comment?
Yeah, I had a quick comment. We talked about that already, and I don't know why those things have not been presented in a manner. We talked about those things being promoted. I don't know what happened and what's going on, but we talked about that, and we're back here again. It's more or less the same stuff. Whose job is to promote those things? Not Scott, along with somebody else. You just hit the business one to promote those things.
I will find out and I will let you know.
Yeah, we need to know who's
all right. So, we have a motion and we have a second, Mr. Gordy.
Okay, Mr. Henry Davis. This is on resolution.
I'm there with you.
Let's see, Mrs. Schiff.
Aye.
Dr. Burke. Aye. Dr. Vaughn. Aye. Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Burke.
Nay.
Mr. Scott. Aye. President Dean.
Aye.
Passes 8-1.
Thank you. May I make a recommendation that 1279 be continued to 1112. Second. Motion second, all in favor of that? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. 1280, please.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving and adopting the Lincoln Park Neighborhood Revitalization Plan.
We have a committee report.
The CEG committee met this afternoon and sent bill 12-8 to full council on favor of recommendation.
All right, thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
is there any way that we could have an abbreviated version of this and fish in?
I think that abbreviated version would be perfect.
And I have to go to the whole movie presentation.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening, Chris
Great
Russell.
report, sir. Oh, okay.
Representing the Department of Community Investment, with officers on the 12th floor of this building. I think all the council members are familiar with here requesting adoption of this resolution for in return adopt the Lincoln Park neighborhood revitalization plan.
Questions for that?
It was wonderful, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone from the public like to speak in favor?
I'll speak briefly in favor. I think this has been an excellent plan process. Things I've learned from the plan. My name is Ann Manick, 724 West Washington. And I've been around this neighborhood for probably 10 years, or 15, 20 years. I'm very familiar with it, but I did learn some things from the plan. First thing, he developed a coherent pattern of land use for the neighborhood. I think the green space south of the Colfax would be good. Another recommendation was we need a neighborhood organization. This is the only area on the west side that does not have a neighborhood organization. So those are two things I learned. I think the plan was useful. It will also help my tax credit development, and it has helped to get a unified group in the neighborhood moving forward. And I think the administration has been very helpful on this plan.
Great, thank you very much. Anyone else? You just need your name and address and...
My name is Lily Smith, and my address is 1124 Jones Street. I've already been there at recently after the site. And my idea for my change, I started taking the other side, is a complete makeover, not only because of the fact that it's insure rating, but I feel like that when one part of the insure rate, then the other person has to have one down. Also, and I also believe that if we can do something about the west side, I think it's made, and I'm not saying it's way true, but it's possible to make that kind of from the signs that we're having. And this is a 20-year, project. I hope I'll be around in 20 years. If I do, I'm going to be a little older than I am now. I'm going to be around next 20 years to see it. But more for myself, I would like to see this for my children and for my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren to be able to walk down the wayside and say, this is where Grandma used to live at, and this is real nice, and this is where we want to live at. I don't want them to leave South Bend because South Bend is a dying city if they still live. It may be hard, they may be dying, but I think together we can make it come alive again. So that's the first thing I'm supposed to do. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else like to speak in favor?
My name is Latonya Jackson. I represent myself and my mother, Wanda. My older and I went to Street and been on one. I'm in support of the bill because there is a lot of things that need to be done. We need a store, we need right in the area, we need a park, we need a specific walk space for those people that don't have transportation for the actual drugstore, places, to eat right there in the community, and that feel say like supposed to be safe. I mean, I want to see in my lifetime, I hope they still want to see it as well. Again, I thank you for taking the time and listening up, and I hope it continues, and I hope we can get this done.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else? So is anybody else would like to speak in favor, just also step up to the microphone there.
My name is Gary Shinton, 21 Oak Street. Currently I'm living with my aunt due to a fire in my home. When I grew up in my aunt's home, she's been here over 50 years. And in that time, that neighborhood was once a beautiful neighborhood. When she moved out, I was 6 years old. And in the last 52 years, I've seen that neighborhood just go directly to the top. It has nothing has been done over there. Oak Street is the only brick street, totally brick street in South Bend, and I think that some focus should be placed on bringing the neighborhood back to standard. They should work on shaping trees and that's all over there. The whole area needs to be revitalized. So I would definitely like to see this plan.
Thank you, ma'am.
1238 I'm a big favor of this. During the summer, I had my guys call out. I walked a lot of streets on the west side. Oak Street, Sherman, Allen, all those streets. I had a chance for the mayor to come out after we did the work on Diamond Street. Excellent job, y'all. Can't complain, excellent job. The mayor came out and I got the chance to talk to him. And as he was leaving, he said he'd ride through and look at different areas. So I talked to Troy and they went through. And they seen the houses and development and the things that's going down. Now, being in the community, we got a lot going on in this community. But we have targeted certain areas. I went to the meeting, I listened to the gentleman he hired that said that they were targeting the west side. And listening to him, he said he's from Baltimore, Maryland. This is not Baltimore, this is South Bend. The big Notre Dame next to it, you know what I mean? So, these areas need to be fixed up, they need to be safe in areas, darken a lot of the streets. These and I grew up in that area, so we know what these streets bring. And the only way that we're going to be able to develop this community, raise the energy of this community, put this community back is to try to develop the homes there. And developing the homes, I went to the school board talking about the VOTEC, bringing the kids in to help revitalize, get out and help. And I was a scout out there, and that's what I did. I tried to hand it back to them, but we got to start somewhere. We got to get a leader, got a man that is pushing for something, and we really need to consider getting this done. This area of South Bend looks horrible. When you get past Street of Oakland, you get on Oak Street, you get on Allen, you get on the street, it's horrible. It's more to it than just picking up things.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in favor? No opposition or favor? No, one more. Favor. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Since I see no opposition, council. Move on the adoption. Scott's got something.
I'll just say this really quickly. I said to Ian earlier. I'm in favor of this. I just wanted to make absolutely clear. I've asked a lot of detailed questions through this process of the implications of our vote. Our vote does have an implication of dollars. There is, through the tax credit, implication of dollars through the city. So I just wanted the council, for everybody to be aware of that. That wasn't me being against this plan. I just want to make sure we understand this is really the first road we've ever gone down with this type of plan process, and make sure everybody understands what they're voting on and how they're voting on it. So that's my questions earlier today and in the past. I don't think the process was that good in communicating to us, Mr. Dussel, and if you talk to Tim Kane as well, I will too. It took a lot to pull the information out, and I think we can work on that. This was the first go around, get better going down the road. So I just want to say that.
Okay, thank you. Again, if it does come back to us, we will have to approve. Okay? We have done this before, I think it was about, we'll wait for that, about 8 or 9 years ago. So,
yeah, we have done it before, and more recently when we've done it with the Southwest project. And the same type of scenario, tax credit program. And as a matter of fact, nothing has happened since then. And so, again, Mayor, as this is a community investment tool, as it is some of our priorities for neighborhoods, this one I would like to be holding you accountable on as well, because it looks like the same thing that we've done in past years. The square has not received the deed, the dollars as well.
We're still stuck there at square one with the plan, and we have not progressed for whatever reason. So this is number 2. We have been here, but I'm in full support of it because we do need a plan.
Very good. Move for the adoption.
Second.
All right, Mr. Morty.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Barnes?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr. Scott? Aye. And Mr. Harrington?
And President Hughes.
Pass.
Being nine ayes.
Thank you. First reading, 6212. Well, we're not done. We got another hour. Sure. You guys can go. This is one of the guys.
6212, first reading on the bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 9, Article 3 of the South Bend Municipal Code addressing ambulance/medical user fees and dedicated funds.
Move the 6212 be set for second, third reading and public hearing on 1012. On both the first half and that.
Second.
And health and public safety.
Second. The motion is second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. May I have a motion? Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? May I have a motion to accept, substitute, and send it to ZNA for 1126?
Yes.
All right. Motion is second. All in favor of that? Any opposition? Thank you. Now we need a motion to accept 4812 as a sub.
So moved.
All in favor of that? Any opposition? Thank you. Now may I have a motion for 4812, accept the substitute version, 5012 and 5112 to go to ZNA for 11. So moved. All in favor of that? Any opposition? Any new business? What? No, I'll give you some new business. Well, we don't have the press here, so I'm not going to say it. Forget it. Give it to the floor.
Regional Development Commission will be meeting on the Thursday for the Cultural Project. They made the council members were against the proposal of taking out a 31 home to the highway. And it looks like it's going to actually happen. And so your voices are needed.
What time?
9:30. 9:30 on Thursday. So there's a letter or your voice, but the whole neighborhood will be taken out if we don't react. And I am so sorry that I'm talking, y'all just walking around and everything is all good. I don't know if y'all have to do that. But that's it.
Very good. Okay, privilege of the floor. Anybody wants to talk to us at this time about, and I don't see how, something we haven't talked about in the last 3 hours and 15 minutes. Going up, name, address, 3 minutes. Boom, go.
Joe Boston, 205 South Bend, Indiana. First thing I wanted to ask is, obviously I said before, why do we have so many interim employees? I went on to the new website and I tried to look at the employment opportunities with the city, and I only found one current opening. I don't know if that's just because all of them fell off the website and the application process is closed or what, but I did bring you a screen capture of that page. And my other question was, my other thing is to see if the council, and I did a lot of work for the public access television, and I know they're getting ready to get underway. I did a little bit of research and found out that Comcast gives the city quite a good chunk of money every year for, I guess it is some type of a franchise fee. I'm not sure exactly what it is. From what I could find, it looks like it might be $400,000 plus. And I do know that the public access TV is supposed to get a percentage of that to help the public access TV. So I was wondering if you could find out what the percentage is that's supposed to go to public access TV and where these monies are being spent, because I'm under the understanding that public access TV got about $85,000, and that was a contribution from the city, the county, and Mishawaka possibly. So I'd like to know where the other hundreds of thousands of dollars is going instead of public access. We need some of that money for some equipment.
Thank you.
Oh, he does?
Daniel Brown, 222 East Bar Street, South Bend, Indiana. And I'm kind of discouraged right now because at this the name of the game is, we're going to get a lot. You're in a church, you're going to go Baptist. I heard the rumors out that certain people running their mouth by governing some people. Ain't going to happen. and you're digging in too. So, if you threaten the police officer, fine, I don't care. But don't threaten these their shirts. So, anything we say, officer, we can prove, let's get this. You know, so if somebody's running his mouth shooting threats out to these little shirts, it's not gonna work. And please don't let them have to pray for it. I mean that from my heart. We are doing what we feel each other better than in the community. We're not doing this because we marry somebody. We're not doing this because we hate somebody. Anything I do it to try to make us feel a better place to live. But you threat, we're not going to scrap. So let you do it, you did. You don't do it yet.
Thank you. You want to talk about it? No. You just already said. Anyone else want to speak to the council? Seeing none, we are adjourned. 10:20.
Oh, great. Good job.